Are you preparing for the PMP 2025 exam and struggling with situational questions? Don't worry, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll break down realistic PMP situational questions, show you how to analyze them, and teach you the best strategies to answer confidently and pass your PMP exam on your first attempt. Learn how to approach tricky PMP scenario-based questions. Master the best answering techniques for PMP 2025. Discover common mistakes to avoid. Stay tuned, take notes, and let's get you PMP certified. 1. You are managing a high-profile banking system migration, and 2 weeks before the final switch, a data integrity issue is discovered, where some transactions are duplicated while others are missing. Executives insist on launching as planned due to a government compliance deadline, but going live with faulty data could lead to severe financial losses. What should you do? A. Delay the migration and resolve the data integrity issue. B. Proceed with the migration, but manually monitor and correct errors. C. Launch as planned and issue a patch after go live. D. Seek an extension from regulators to allow time for fixes. Answer. A. Delay the migration and resolve the data integrity issue. Explanation. Financial data accuracy is critical, and launching with errors could cause legal and reputational damage. 2. Your aerospace project is nearing completion, but during final wind tunnel tests, the aircraft's wing structure shows signs of failure under extreme turbulence conditions. Your client is eager for delivery, and delaying the project would result in penalties, but proceeding could compromise passenger safety. What should you do? A. Redesign and reinforce the wing structure before delivering the aircraft. B. Deliver the aircraft as scheduled but include usage restrictions. C. Proceed with delivery and plan for structural improvements later. D. Inform the client and let them decide whether to proceed. Answer. A. Redesign and reinforce the wing structure before delivering the aircraft. Explanation. Safety is the top priority in aerospace. Delivering a structurally weak aircraft could result in catastrophic failures. 3. You are leading a pharmaceutical project to develop a new vaccine, and clinical trials reveal that the vaccine is 90% effective, but has rare severe side effects in 2% of patients. Regulators demand a full safety review, but delaying approval could result in thousands of preventable deaths. What should you do? A. Pause approval and conduct further safety testing. B. Release the vaccine with strict warnings for at-risk individuals. C. Seek emergency use authorization while monitoring side effects. D. Launch the vaccine in low-risk populations first. Answer. A. Pause approval and conduct further safety testing. Explanation. Public health safety must be prioritized. A rushed approval could lead to lawsuits and loss of trust. 4. You are managing a smart city infrastructure project, and just before implementation, a major cybersecurity firm warns that the traffic control system is vulnerable to hacking. Delaying the project could cost millions, but launching a hackable system could lead to traffic manipulation and accidents. What should you do? A. Delay the launch and fix the cybersecurity vulnerabilities. B. Launch the system but implement additional manual monitoring. C. Deploy the system in phases while improving security. D. Proceed as planned and issue security patches post-launch. Answer. Delay the launch and fix the cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Explanation. A compromised traffic system could endanger lives. Cybersecurity must be addressed before deployment. 5. You are overseeing an international construction project, and midway through, a local labor law changes, requiring higher wages and reduced work hours. Implementing the changes will increase project costs by 25%, but ignoring them could lead to legal action and work stoppages. What is the best course of action? Adjust the budget and comply with the new labor laws. B. Continue under previous agreements and challenge the law in court. C. Seek a government exemption for your project. D. Reduce the project scope to offset increased labor costs. Answer: adjust the budget and comply with the new labor laws. Explanation: non-compliance could result in legal action and long-term disruptions. Adapting ensures continued project execution. Before we proceed further in this video, listen up, PMP exam takers. If you're preparing for the PMP exam in 2025, this is the game changer you've been waiting for. We've created the ultimate PMP exam Buka Complete Study Guide, packed with 1,000 practice questions and situational answers to help you master the exam format with confidence. What makes this ebook a must-have? 1,000 plus realistic situational questions, just like the ones you'll see on exam day. Expert answers and explanations so you don't just memorize, but truly understand the logic behind each question. PMP exam tricks and tips: learn how to manage time effectively, avoid traps, and pass on your first attempt. Easy to follow study guide whether you're a first-timer or retaking the PMP. This ebook is your roadmap to success. Limited time offer: 50% off. For a short time only, we're offering a massive 50% discount on this ebook. Don't miss out. Click the sealer or fourth wall link in the description below to download your copy now. Need more info? Chat with our customer support on WhatsApp or email us. Take action now. Grab your copy, start practicing, and pass your PMP exam with confidence. 6. You are leading a multi-billion-dollar oil pipeline project. And after months of construction, local indigenous groups protest, claiming the project violates their land rights. Continuing the project without addressing concerns could result in lawsuits and blockades, while halting it would result in financial losses. What should you do? Pause construction and engage in negotiations with the indigenous groups. B. Proceed with construction and offer financial compensation later. C. Seek legal intervention to remove the protesters. D. Move the pipeline route to bypass the disputed land. Answer: pause construction and engage in negotiations with the indigenous groups. Explanation: ignoring stakeholder concerns can lead to long-term disruptions. Negotiation fosters a sustainable resolution. 7. You are leading a global software deployment, and during beta testing, you discover that the software does not comply with GDPR regulations in 3 major markets. Fixing compliance could take 6 more months, but launching without compliance could result in massive fines. What should you do? Delay the launch and ensure full GDPR compliance. B. Launch in non-GDPR markets first while fixing compliance issues. C. Release as planned but include a legal disclaimer for GDPR markets. D. Seek temporary regulatory exemptions. Answer: delay the launch and ensure full GDPR compliance. Explanation: non-compliance with GDPR could lead to fines of up to 4% of global revenue. Ensuring compliance is a business necessity. 8. You are managing a high-speed train expansion, and during track inspections, engineers find that soil erosion near key bridges could lead to structural failures in heavy rain. Fixing the issue would cost millions and delay the project, but proceeding risks derailments. What is the best decision? A. Fix the soil erosion issues before continuing construction. B. Proceed with construction, but monitor the affected areas closely. C. Reinforce only the most critical areas to reduce costs. D. Open the railway with speed limits in affected areas. Answer: fix the soil erosion issues before continuing construction. Explanation: ignoring soil erosion could cause catastrophic failures, leading to loss of life and legal consequences. 9. You are overseeing an AI-driven healthcare system rollout. And after final testing, doctors report that the AI occasionally misdiagnoses life-threatening conditions. Executives want to proceed with launch, fearing losing market dominance, but deploying a flawed system could result in lawsuits and fatalities. What should you do? Postpone the launch and fix the misdiagnosis issues. B. Launch the system but require manual doctor approval for AI recommendations. C. Release and select hospitals while refining the AI. D. Proceed as planned and issue updates later. Answer. A. Postpone the launch and fix the misdiagnosis issues. Explanation. A flawed AI in healthcare could result in loss of life. Ensuring accuracy before deployment is critical. 10. You are leading a massive cloud migration project, and during final testing, it is discovered that the data encryption module does not meet security standards, leaving sensitive customer information exposed. The client wants to proceed, fearing delays will affect revenue, but launching could result in massive data breaches. What is the best approach? A. Fix the encryption module before migrating any data. B. Proceed with migration, but limit access to sensitive data. C. Launch as planned and address security issues in future updates. D. Migrate in phases, starting with low-risk data first. Answer. A. Fix the encryption module before migrating any data. Explanation. A data breach could lead to legal fines and reputational damage. Security must be the priority. 11. Your project is progressing well, but a stakeholder insists on implementing a new feature that was not part of the original scope. The project is already on a tight schedule. How should you handle this request? A. Evaluate the impact of the change and follow the formal change control process. B. Implement the change immediately to keep the stakeholder happy. C. Reject the request without discussion. D. Ignore the request and continue with the existing scope. Answer. Evaluate the impact of the change and follow the formal change control process. Explanation. Changes should be assessed for feasibility, risks, and impact before approval to prevent scope creep and schedule delays. 12. During project execution, you discover that a critical deliverable does not meet the required quality standards. What is your best course of action? A. Investigate the root cause and take corrective action to improve quality. B. Ignore the issue and proceed with the next phase of the project. C. Blame the quality control team for failing to detect the problem earlier. D. Accept the low-quality deliverable to stay on schedule. Answer. Investigate the root cause and take corrective action to improve quality. Explanation. Addressing quality issues proactively ensures that project deliverables meet stakeholder expectations and contractual requirements. 13. A key project sponsor has resigned, and the new sponsor has a different vision for the project. What should you do? A. Meet with the new sponsor to align project objectives and expectations. B. Continue executing the project as originally planned. C. Stop all project work until you receive new instructions. D. Ignore the new sponsor's vision and focus only on previous agreements. Answer. A. Meet with the new sponsor to align project objectives and expectations. Explanation. Engaging with new stakeholders ensures continued alignment with business goals and prevents potential conflicts later. 14. Your project team is facing serious conflicts that are slowing down progress. What is the most effective way to handle this situation? A. Act as a mediator and help the team resolve their conflicts. B. Ignore the conflicts and hope they resolve themselves. C. Immediately replace team members who are involved in conflicts. D. Allow the team to argue until they come to a resolution. Answer. A. Act as a mediator and help the team resolve their conflicts. Explanation. Conflict resolution is essential for maintaining a productive and cooperative team environment. 15. A vendor responsible for a critical component of your project is consistently missing deadlines. What should you do first? A. Review the contract and discuss performance issues with the vendor. B. Immediately terminate the vendor's contract and find a replacement. C. Ignore the issue and assume the vendor will improve performance. D. Reduce the project scope to accommodate the delays. Answer. Review the contract and discuss performance issues with the vendor. Explanation. Engaging with vendors and addressing performance issues early helps. Avoid major project delays and potential contractual disputes. 16. While conducting a risk review, You identify a new risk that could significantly impact project delivery. What should you do next? Update the risk register and develop a risk response plan. B. Ignore the new risk since it was not initially identified. C. Delay the project to reassess all risks before moving forward. D. Inform stakeholders about the risk without taking any action. Answer. Update the risk register and develop a risk response plan. Explanation. Risk management is a continuous process, and new risks should be documented and addressed proactively. 17. A junior project team member comes to you with concerns about unethical behavior by a senior team member. What should you do? Investigate the concern and escalate it according to company policies. B. Ignore the concern to avoid conflicts within the team. C. Confront the senior team member aggressively. D. Advise the junior member to keep quiet to maintain team harmony. Answer. Investigate the concern and escalate it according to company policies. Explanation. Ethical concerns should be taken seriously, and appropriate actions must be taken to maintain integrity and compliance. 18. A stakeholder has misunderstood a key project deliverable and now expects an outcome that was never part of the project plan. How should you handle this situation? A. Clarify the project scope and expectations through stakeholder communication. B. Modify the deliverable to match the stakeholder's incorrect expectations. C. Avoid the stakeholder to prevent conflict. D. Deliver what the stakeholder expects, even if it deviates from the agreed scope. Answer. A. Clarify the project scope and expectations through stakeholder communication. Explanation. Clear communication and proper documentation help manage stakeholder expectations effectively. 19. Halfway through your project, a government regulation changes, requiring additional compliance measures. What is your best approach? Assess the impact and update the project plan accordingly. B. Ignore the regulation since the project was planned under previous rules. C. Continue as planned and address the regulation later. D. Cancel the project due to the new compliance requirements. Answer. Assess the impact and update the project plan accordingly. Explanation. Compliance with legal and regulatory changes is essential, and project plans should be updated to accommodate new requirements. 20. You have been assigned to take over a project that is already in execution. The previous project manager did not document key decisions or progress updates. What should you do first? A. Conduct a project audit to assess the current status and gather missing information. B. Immediately make decisions without reviewing past progress. C. Restart the project from the beginning to ensure proper documentation. D. Ignore the lack of documentation and proceed with assumptions. Answer. A. Conduct a project audit to assess the current status and gather missing information. Explanation. Understanding the current project state and documenting key information is crucial for successful project management. 21. You are leading a project that is critical to your company's strategic goals. A senior executive requests an urgent status update in a meeting, but you do not have the latest data on hand. What should you do? A. Provide a rough estimate based on past progress. B. Politely explain that you will gather accurate data and follow up after the meeting. C. Give an optimistic update to keep the executive satisfied. D. Avoid answering and change the subject. Answer. B. Politely explain that you will gather accurate data and follow up after the meeting. Explanation. Providing inaccurate or misleading information can damage credibility. It's better to ensure accuracy and follow up promptly. 22. Your project is in the final stages, but a key stakeholder insists on a last-minute change that could delay the project completion. What is your best course of action? Assess the impact of the change and follow the formal change control process. B. Implement the change immediately to satisfy the stakeholder. C. Reject the change outright to avoid delays. D. Ignore the request and proceed with the original plan. Answer. Assess the impact of the change and follow the formal change control process. Explanation. Even late-stage changes should be evaluated through proper processes to balance stakeholder needs with project constraints. 23. A project team member consistently misses deadlines, causing delays. How should you address this issue? A. Meet with the team member to understand challenges and provide support. B. Publicly criticize the team member to set an example. C. Immediately replace the team member with someone else. D. Ignore the issue and hope for improvement. Answer. A. Meet with the team member to understand challenges and provide support. Explanation. Effective leadership involves identifying and addressing the root cause of performance issues before taking drastic action. 24. During project execution, your client is dissatisfied with the progress, despite the project being on track. How should you handle this? Arrange a meeting to understand the client's concerns and clarify expectations. B. Continue with the project as planned and ignore the client's complaints. C. Modify the project scope to align with the client's new expectations without approval. D. Terminate the project to avoid further conflicts. Answer. Arrange a meeting to understand the client's concerns and clarify expectations. 25. A major risk identified in the project risk register has just materialized, causing disruptions. What should you do next? A. Implement the predefined risk response plan. B. Stop the project and wait for further instructions. C. Ignore the issue and continue as planned. D. Escalate the issue without attempting to mitigate it. Answer. Implement the predefined risk response plan. Explanation. A well-documented risk response plan ensures that project risks are managed efficiently to minimize disruptions. 26. A critical project task requires specific expertise that no one on your team has. What should you do? A. Seek external resources or training for your team members. B. Assign the task to an available but inexperienced team member. C. Proceed with the task despite the lack of expertise. D. Remove the task from the project scope. Answer. A. Seek external resources or training for your team members. Explanation. Ensuring that the right expertise is available is crucial for project success and quality outcomes. 27. A project is experiencing frequent conflicts between different departments, affecting teamwork. How should you address this issue? A. Facilitate open communication and conflict resolution sessions. B. Ignore the conflicts and hope they resolve themselves. C. Reassign team members to avoid working together. D. Allow conflicts to continue, assuming they will lead to better ideas. Answer. A. Facilitate open communication and conflict resolution sessions. Explanation. Managing conflicts constructively can improve collaboration and project performance. 28. Your project is ahead of schedule, and your sponsor suggests reducing resources to cut costs. What is the best approach? A. Evaluate the impact before making any decisions. B. Immediately reduce resources to save money. C. Ignore the suggestion and continue with the original plan. D. Increase project scope since additional time is available. Answer. Evaluate the impact before making any decisions. Explanation. Resource adjustments should be carefully assessed to ensure they don't compromise quality or future phases of the project. 29. A project milestone is approaching, but a key deliverable is behind schedule. What should you do first? A. Analyze the cause of the delay and take corrective action. B. Adjust the milestone without informing stakeholders. C. Rush the work to meet the milestone, even if quality suffers. D. Cancel the milestone to avoid project failure. Answer. A. Analyze the cause of the delay and take corrective action. Explanation. Identifying the root cause helps in implementing solutions that prevent future delays while maintaining quality. 30. A newly identified stakeholder is raising concerns about the project scope which was already approved. What should you do? Engage with the stakeholder to understand their concerns and provide clarification. B. Ignore the stakeholder since the scope is already approved. C. Change the project scope to accommodate the stakeholder's concerns. D. Remove the stakeholder from the project discussions. Answer: I engage with the stakeholder to understand their concerns and provide clarification. Explanation: proper stakeholder engagement ensures alignment and minimizes conflicts later in the project. 31. Midway through a project, you discover that a key vendor is unable to meet their contractual obligations, which will impact critical deliverables. What should you do first? Immediately terminate the vendor contract and seek a replacement. B. Assess the impact on the project and explore alternative solutions. C. Inform stakeholders that the project will be delayed without taking action. D. Continue with the vendor, hoping the situation improves. Answer: B. Assess the impact on the project and explore alternative solutions. Explanation: before making drastic changes, it's important to evaluate the consequences and explore options such as renegotiation, alternative vendors, or adjusting the project plan. 32. A stakeholder requests a significant change that will increase costs and extend the project timeline. What is the best way to handle this? Approve the request immediately to keep the stakeholder happy. B. Reject the request outright to avoid complications. C. Follow the formal change control process to assess the impact. D. Implement the change informally to avoid bureaucratic delays. Answer: C. Follow the formal change control process to assess the impact. Explanation: change requests should go through a structured evaluation process to determine feasibility, risks, and approval requirements. 33. Your project team is struggling with unclear roles and responsibilities, leading to inefficiencies. How should you address this? A. Conduct a meeting to clarify roles and update the RACI matrix. B. Assume team members will figure out their responsibilities over time. C. Assign new roles without consulting the team. D. Let the team work without structure to promote flexibility. Answer: A. Conduct a meeting to clarify roles and update the RACI matrix. Explanation: defining and communicating roles ensures accountability, reduces confusion, and improves productivity. 34. A conflict arises between two senior team members over resource allocation. Their disagreement is slowing down project progress. What should you do? A. Mediate the conflict and facilitate a resolution that benefits the project. B. Take sides with the team member you agree with. C. Ignore the conflict and hope it resolves itself. D. Remove both team members from the project. Answer: A. Mediate the conflict and facilitate a resolution that benefits the project. Explanation: effective conflict resolution helps maintain a positive work environment and keeps the project on track. 35. While executing a project, a critical risk materializes that was not accounted for in the risk management plan. What should be your first step? A. Develop and implement an immediate response to address the risk. B. Pause the project until a risk response plan is created. C. Blame the risk management team for missing the risk. D. Ignore the risk since it wasn't originally identified. Answer: A. Develop and implement an immediate response to address the risk. Explanation: unanticipated risks require prompt assessment and response to minimize their impact on project objectives. 36. A customer expresses dissatisfaction with the deliverable, even though it meets all agreed upon requirements. What is the best course of action? A. Meet with the customer to understand their concerns and explore possible improvements. B. Dismiss the complaint since the deliverable meets requirements. C. Offer a discount to the customer to compensate for dissatisfaction. D. Redo the deliverable entirely without discussing the issue. Answer: A. Meet with the customer to understand their concerns and explore possible improvements. Explanation: addressing stakeholder concerns proactively helps maintain relationships and ensures project success. 37. During project execution, a regulatory change is introduced that affects project compliance. What should you do next? Assess the impact of the regulatory change on the project. B. Continue the project as planned and address compliance issues later. C. Ignore the regulation since it was not in place when the project started. D. Immediately stop the project and restart with a new plan. Answer: assess the impact of the regulatory change on the project. Explanation: compliance is critical, and a thorough impact analysis allows for informed decision-making regarding necessary adjustments. 38. A project milestone is at risk due to unforeseen technical challenges. How should you respond? A. Work with the technical team to explore possible solutions and mitigations. B. Extend the milestone deadline without informing stakeholders. C. Ignore the issue and hope it resolves itself. D. Assign the task to a different team without assessing the root cause. Answer: A. Work with the technical team to explore possible solutions and mitigations. Explanation: collaborating with experts ensures that technical challenges are addressed effectively while maintaining project objectives. 39. Your sponsor requests a project status report using a format different from the one you typically use. What should you do? Adapt the report to meet the sponsor's preferred format. B. Refuse the request and continue using the standard format. C. Ignore the request, assuming the standard report is sufficient. D. Escalate the issue to senior management. Answer: adapt the report to meet the sponsor's preferred format. Explanation: effective communication includes tailoring reports to meet stakeholder needs, ensuring clarity and engagement. 40. One of your key project team members resigns unexpectedly, leaving a critical gap in expertise. What should you do first? Assess the impact on the project and identify mitigation strategies. B. Immediately hire a replacement without evaluating the situation. C. Redistribute the work among existing team members without consulting them. D. Ignore the resignation and proceed as if nothing happened. Answer: assess the impact on the project and identify mitigation strategies. Explanation: evaluating the impact allows for a well-planned response, such as redistributing work, hiring a replacement, or adjusting the schedule. 41. During a critical phase of your project, a key stakeholder demands a last-minute change that would significantly impact the timeline and budget. What should you do? A. Implement the change immediately to satisfy the stakeholder. B. Politely decline the request and continue as planned. C. Assess the impact of the change and follow the formal change control process. D. Escalate the issue to senior management to avoid making a decision. Answer: C. Assess the impact of the change and follow the formal change control process. Explanation: all changes must go through formal assessment to evaluate their feasibility, risks, and alignment with project goals. 42. Your project team has identified a potential risk that could delay the project by several weeks. What is the best course of action? A. Document the risk and take no action unless it materializes. B. Work with the team to develop a risk response plan proactively. C. Inform stakeholders that the project will be delayed without attempting to mitigate the risk. D. Ignore the risk since it has not yet occurred. Answer: B. Work with the team to develop a risk response plan proactively. Explanation: proactive risk management helps prevent potential issues from impacting project success. 43. A new project manager joins your organization and asks you for guidance on stakeholder engagement. What should you recommend as the first step? A. Develop a communication plan immediately. B. Identify and analyze stakeholders to understand their interests and influence. C. Conduct status meetings with all stakeholders without prior analysis. D. Only engage with senior stakeholders, as they have the most authority. Answer: B. Identify and analyze stakeholders to understand their interests and influence. Explanation: stakeholder analysis is essential for tailoring engagement strategies and ensuring project alignment with stakeholder expectations. 44. A client has raised concerns about the project scope, claiming that certain deliverables were not included as expected. How should you handle this situation? A. Review the scope statement and contract to clarify deliverables. B. Apologize and include the additional deliverables without reviewing the contract. C. Ignore the client's concerns and proceed as planned. D. Escalate the issue to senior management immediately. Answer. Review the scope statement and contract to clarify deliverables. Explanation. Referring to documented agreements helps ensure clarity, manage expectations, and prevent scope creep. 45. Your project team is experiencing delays due to frequent conflicts among members. What is the most effective way to resolve this issue? A. Facilitate a team building session to improve collaboration and communication. B. Replace team members who are frequently involved in conflicts. C. Allow conflicts to continue, as they are a natural part of teamwork. D. Ignore the issue and focus only on project deadlines. Answer. A. Facilitate a team building session to improve collaboration and communication. Explanation. Strong team dynamics and effective conflict resolution contribute to project success and a positive work environment. 46. While managing a project, you discover that a subcontractor has failed to meet their performance requirements. What should you do first? A. Terminate the subcontractor's contract immediately. B. Conduct a performance review and discuss corrective actions. C. Assign the subcontractor's work to your internal team without consultation. D. Ignore the issue and hope performance improves over time. Answer. B. Conduct a performance review and discuss corrective actions. Explanation. Addressing performance issues with the structured review process allows for resolution and minimizes project disruption. 47. A key team member has been assigned to another project without prior notice, leaving your team short-staffed. What is the best immediate action? Assess the impact on project timelines and reassign responsibilities. B. Demand that the team member be returned to your project. C. Delay the project until a replacement is found. D. Continue without a replacement and hope the team can manage. Answer. Assess the impact on project timelines and reassign responsibilities. Explanation. Evaluating the situation helps in identifying viable solutions to minimize disruptions. 48. During project execution, a stakeholder expresses concerns that their requirements were not fully considered. What should you do? A. Review the project requirements and address valid concerns. B. Inform the stakeholder that it is too late to make changes. C. Ignore the concerns and continue as planned. D. Escalate the issue to senior management immediately. Answer. A. Review the project requirements and address valid concerns. Explanation. Engaging stakeholders and addressing concerns proactively enhances project success and stakeholder satisfaction. 49. Your project is nearing completion, but a quality audit reveals multiple defects in the final deliverable. What is the best course of action? A. Work with the team to identify root causes and implement corrective actions. B. Deliver the product as is, assuming the defects are minor. C. Extend the project timeline indefinitely to ensure perfect quality. D. Ignore the audit results and proceed with project closure. Answer. A. Work with the team to identify root causes and implement corrective actions. Explanation. Addressing quality issues before delivery ensures that the final product meets stakeholder expectations and contract requirements. 50. Your project team is feeling demotivated due to tight deadlines and high pressure. What should you do to improve morale? A. Recognize achievements and provide motivation through rewards. B. Increase the workload further to encourage faster completion. C. Ignore team morale and focus only on deadlines. D. Replace team members who express dissatisfaction. Answer. Recognize achievements and provide motivation through rewards. Explanation. A motivated team is more productive and engaged, which positively impacts project outcomes. 51. Midway through the execution phase of a project, a major regulatory change is introduced that impacts your project deliverables. What should you do first? Immediately adjust the project scope to comply with the new regulations. B. Pause the project until a legal team provides guidance. C. Conduct an impact assessment and initiate the change control process. D. Ignore the change and proceed as originally planned. Answer: C. Conduct an impact assessment and initiate the change control process. Explanation: evaluating the impact first allows for informed decision-making before making adjustments to the project scope. 52. A senior executive requests that you fast-track a critical project milestone by cutting quality control activities. What is the best response? Accept the request and proceed without quality checks to meet the deadline. B. Explain the risks of skipping quality control and suggest alternative ways to optimize the timeline. C. Escalate the issue to a higher authority immediately. D. Ignore the request and proceed as per the original plan. Answer: B. Explain the risks of skipping quality control and suggest alternative ways to optimize the timeline. Explanation: ensuring project quality is essential. Educating stakeholders on risks and exploring other time-saving strategies is the best approach. 53. Your project sponsor wants to add a major new feature to the project deliverables, but the project is already close to completion. What should you do? Accept the change immediately and adjust timelines. B. Reject the request, as it is too late for scope changes. C. Assess the impact of the change and follow the formal change control process. D. Implement the change without informing the team. Answer: C. Assess the impact of the change and follow the formal change control process. Explanation: all changes, regardless of timing, must be evaluated for feasibility, risks, and alignment with project objectives. 54. A project you are managing is behind schedule, and the client has threatened to cancel the contract. What should be your first course of action? Conduct a schedule analysis to determine the root cause of the delay. B. Offer the client a discount to maintain the relationship. C. Immediately increase resources without analyzing the situation. D. Blame external factors and refuse to take responsibility. Answer: conduct a schedule analysis to determine the root cause of the delay. Explanation: identifying the cause of delays enables you to develop an effective recovery plan and manage stakeholder expectations. 55. Your project team is struggling to meet performance expectations and productivity is declining. What should you do? Conduct a team meeting to identify challenges and provide support. B. Replace low-performing team members immediately. C. Ignore the issue and focus only on project deadlines. D. Increase working hours to force better performance. Answer: conduct a team meeting to identify challenges and provide support. Explanation: engaging the team and addressing underlying issues helps improve productivity and morale. 56. You are managing a project with several vendors, and one of them consistently fails to meet delivery deadlines. What is your best approach? Terminate the vendor's contract immediately. B. Conduct a performance review and discuss corrective actions with the vendor. C. Accept the delays and adjust project timelines accordingly. D. Take legal action against the vendor without prior discussion. Answer: B. Conduct a performance review and discuss corrective actions with the vendor. Explanation: structured approach to vendor performance management. Allows for issue resolution and ensures minimal disruption to the project. 57. During a risk review meeting, your team identifies a critical risk that was not included in the risk register. What should you do? Document the risk, analyze its impact, and develop a response plan. B. Ignore the risk since it was not originally identified. C. Inform the sponsor but take no further action. D. Delay the project until the risk can be fully assessed. Answer: document the risk, analyze its impact, and develop a response plan. Explanation: continuous risk management ensures that emerging risks are addressed promptly to avoid project disruptions. 58. A stakeholder complains that project updates are not being communicated effectively. How should you handle this? A. Review the communication management plan and make necessary adjustments. B. Ignore the complaint since updates are already being provided. C. Increase the frequency of meetings without reviewing the actual issue. D. Limit communication only to key stakeholders. Answer. Review the communication management plan and make necessary adjustments. Explanation. Effective stakeholder communication is key to project success, and adjustments should be made to align with stakeholder needs. 59. Your project team is geographically dispersed, leading to collaboration challenges. What is the best way to address this issue? A. Implement virtual collaboration tools and schedule regular check-ins. B. Require all team members to relocate to a central office. C. Reduce the frequency of team meetings to minimize scheduling conflicts. D. Allow team members to work independently without coordination. Answer. Implement virtual collaboration tools and schedule regular check-ins. Explanation. Virtual tools and structured communication improve coordination and team efficiency in remote environments. 60. You are leading a project in an industry that is rapidly evolving with new technological advancements. How should you ensure project success? A. Continuously monitor industry trends and incorporate relevant updates into the project. B. Stick to the original project plan and avoid making changes. C. Delay project execution until all new technologies are fully implemented. D. Rely only on existing project documentation and ignore industry changes. Answer. A. Continuously monitor industry trends and incorporate relevant updates into the project. Explanation. Keeping up with industry advancements helps maintain project relevance and competitiveness. The project is in the final stages, but a key stakeholder demands a change that will significantly impact the timeline and budget. What should you do? A. Accept the change and extend the project timeline accordingly. B. Conduct an impact assessment and follow the change control process. C. Reject the request immediately as the project is near completion. D. Implement the change without informing the team to avoid conflict. Answer. B. Conduct an impact assessment and follow the change control process. Explanation. Even in later stages, changes must be assessed for feasibility and alignment with project objectives before approval. 62. A conflict arises between two senior team members, affecting team morale. What is the best way to handle the situation? A. Ignore the conflict and hope it resolves itself. B. Publicly reprimand both individuals to set an example. C. Address the conflict privately, mediate discussions, and encourage resolution. D. Remove both individuals from the project immediately. Answer. C. Address the conflict privately, mediate discussions, and encourage resolution. Explanation. Effective conflict resolution involves open communication and mediation to maintain team productivity and morale. 63. A sponsor wants daily project updates, but your team finds this excessive and disruptive. How should you proceed? Agree to the daily updates despite the impact on productivity. B. Negotiate with the sponsor for a more reasonable reporting frequency. C. Ignore the sponsor's request and continue with your planned updates. D. Assign a team member solely to handle sponsor communication. Answer. B. Negotiate with the sponsor for a more reasonable reporting frequency. Explanation. Balancing stakeholder needs with team efficiency ensures that communication remains effective without disrupting workflow. 64. You are managing a high-risk project, and a major risk materializes, causing unexpected delays. What should you do? A. Refer to the risk response plan and implement the mitigation strategy. B. Panic and try to find an immediate solution without consulting the plan. C. Escalate the issue without attempting to resolve it. D. Ignore the delay and continue with the project as planned. Answer. Refer to the risk response plan and implement the mitigation strategy. Explanation. Proactively addressing risks using pre-planned responses ensures a structured and effective resolution. 65. A key team member resigns in the middle of a critical phase, and replacing them will take time. What is your best course of action? A. Reassign tasks and adjust workload distribution while finding a replacement. B. Halt the project until a replacement is found. C. Assign all the work to one team member without adjusting timelines. De-escalate the issue to the sponsor and transfer responsibility. Answer. Reassign tasks and adjust workload distribution while finding a replacement. Explanation. Ensuring business continuity by redistributing tasks while seeking a replacement minimizes project disruption. 66. A vendor is failing to meet agreed upon deliverables, delaying project progress. What should you do? A. Terminate the contract and find a new vendor immediately. B. Work with the vendor to identify the root cause and create a recovery plan. C. Accept the delays and adjust project timelines accordingly. De-escalate the issue without attempting to resolve it. Answer. B. Work with the vendor to identify the root cause and create a recovery plan. Explanation. Collaborating with vendors to address issues ensures minimal disruption and maintains project relationships. 67. A project milestone is approaching, but resource shortages are causing delays. What is your best approach? A. Reallocate existing resources and explore outsourcing options. B. Work extra hours and push the team to complete tasks faster. C. Extend the deadline without consulting stakeholders. D. Reduce the project scope to meet the deadline. Answer. Reallocate existing resources and explore outsourcing options. Explanation. Efficient resource management ensures project progress while maintaining quality and meeting deadlines. 68. A new regulation requires immediate compliance, but your project budget does not cover the additional costs. What should you do? Assess the financial impact and present options to stakeholders. B. Ignore the regulation and proceed as planned. C. Cancel the project due to non-compliance risks. D. Use contingency funds without approval. Answer. Assess the financial impact and present options to stakeholders. Explanation. Engaging stakeholders in financial decision-making ensures proper allocation of resources while maintaining compliance. 69. A client is unhappy with the deliverables, claiming they do not meet expectations, despite aligning with the agreed scope. What is your best response? A. Review the client's concerns and explore possible refinements. B. Ignore the complaint since the project met the agreed scope. C. Offer a discount to maintain client satisfaction. De-escalate the issue without discussing it with the client. Answer. Review the client's concerns and explore possible refinements. Explanation. Addressing client concerns proactively helps maintain relationships and ensure satisfaction. 70. Your team is struggling with motivation due to an extended project timeline. How can you improve engagement? A. Recognize team achievements and provide incentives. B. Push the team harder to finish faster. C. Ignore the issue and focus only on project completion. D. Replace team members who express dissatisfaction. Answer. A. Recognize team achievements and provide incentives. Explanation. Acknowledging efforts and offering motivation boosts morale and enhances team performance. 71. During project execution, senior stakeholder frequently bypasses the change control process, making unauthorized scope changes. How should you handle this situation? A. Ignore the changes since the stakeholder is senior. B. Escalate the issue immediately to the project sponsor. C. Educate the stakeholder on the change control process and enforce compliance. D. Implement the changes without documentation to maintain good relations. Answer. C. Educate the stakeholder on the change control process and enforce compliance. Explanation. Proper stakeholder management ensures adherence to formal processes, preventing scope creep and project risks. 72. You are managing a global project, and cultural differences are causing miscommunication between teams. What is the best course of action? A. Require all teams to adopt the primary culture's working style. B. Conduct cultural awareness training and establish clear communication protocols. C. Replace team members who struggle with cultural differences. D. Ignore the issue and let teams resolve conflicts on their own. Answer: B. Conduct cultural awareness training and establish clear communication protocols. Explanation: understanding and addressing cultural differences improve collaboration and project success in global teams. 73. A customer requests a major feature addition after project execution has started. The addition will increase costs and delay delivery. What should you do? Accept the change without assessing its impact. B. Reject the request, as the project is already in execution. C. Conduct an impact analysis and follow the formal change request process. D. Implement the change and adjust the schedule without informing stakeholders. Answer: C. Conduct an impact analysis and follow the formal change request process. Explanation: change management ensures that modifications are assessed, approved, and integrated without disrupting project objectives. 74. Your project has experienced multiple delays, and the client is frustrated. They demand an unrealistic deadline for completion. What is the best approach? Agree to the deadline to satisfy the client, even if it's unrealistic. B. Negotiate a feasible timeline based on a detailed risk and impact assessment. C. Escalate the issue without discussing alternative solutions. D. Push the team to work overtime to meet the deadline. Answer: B. Negotiate a feasible timeline based on a detailed risk and impact assessment. Explanation: setting realistic expectations with stakeholders prevents quality issues and project failure. 75. A team member has consistently missed deadlines, affecting project progress. How should you handle this situation? A. Publicly reprimand the team member to enforce discipline. B. Replace the team member immediately. C. Provide constructive feedback and explore ways to support their improvement. D. Ignore the issue and redistribute their workload. Answer: C. Provide constructive feedback and explore ways to support their improvement. Explanation: effective leadership involves coaching and supporting team members to enhance their performance. 76. You discover that a critical risk was not documented in the risk register and has now materialized. What should you do first? A. Implement an emergency response without assessing the impact. B. Update the risk register, assess the impact, and develop a mitigation plan. C. Escalate the issue and hold the team accountable for missing the risk. D. Cancel the project due to the unexpected risk. Answer: B. Update the risk register, assess the impact, and develop a mitigation plan. Explanation: risk management requires continuous assessment and response to minimize project disruptions. 77. A key supplier is facing financial difficulties, putting your project's supply chain at risk. What is your best course of action? Immediately terminate the contract and seek a new supplier. B. Assess the impact, explore contingency plans, and work with the supplier to find solutions. C. Ignore the issue and continue with the supplier as planned. D. Request additional funds from stakeholders to cover potential supplier failure. Answer: B. Assess the impact, explore contingency plans, and work with the supplier to find solutions. Explanation: supplier risk management involves proactive collaboration and contingency planning to avoid project disruptions. 78. Your team is experiencing a significant workload increase, leading to burnout. How can you address this issue? A. Reallocate resources and prioritize critical tasks. B. Instruct the team to work longer hours to meet deadlines. C. Ignore complaints and push forward to complete the project. D. Reduce project scope without consulting stakeholders. Answer: A. Reallocate resources and prioritize critical tasks. Explanation: effective resource management prevents burnout and ensures sustainable productivity. 79. A key stakeholder is disengaged and not responding to project updates, which may affect approval processes. How should you handle this? A. Escalate the issue immediately to senior management. B. Find alternative stakeholders to provide approvals. C. Engage the stakeholder directly to understand their concerns and improve communication. D. Proceed without stakeholder involvement. Answer: C. Engage the stakeholder directly to understand their concerns and improve communication. Explanation: active stakeholder management ensures alignment and smooth project execution. 80. Your project is at risk of exceeding its budget due to unforeseen costs. What should you do first? A. Analyze the root cause of cost overruns and assess possible corrective actions. B. Request additional funds from stakeholders without justification. C. Reduce the project scope without considering business impact. D. Ignore the cost overrun and proceed with execution. Answer: analyze the root cause of cost overruns and assess possible corrective actions. Explanation: cost control involves identifying cost drivers and implementing appropriate mitigation strategies. 81. During a project, a key team member leaves unexpectedly, causing delays in a critical deliverable. What should you do first? Immediately escalate the issue to the project sponsor. B. Reassign tasks to other team members and update the project schedule. C. Hire a replacement without informing stakeholders. D. Cancel the deliverable to avoid delays. Answer: B. Reassign tasks to other team members and update the project schedule. Explanation: resource management ensures continuity in project execution by reallocating work and adjusting schedules. 82. A stakeholder insists on adding new features without following the formal change request process. What is the best approach? Accept the changes to keep the stakeholder satisfied. B. Reject the changes immediately to prevent scope creep. C. Explain the importance of the change control process and request a formal change request. D. Implement the changes but document them later. Answer: C. Explain the importance of the change control process and request a formal change request. Explanation: enforcing the change control process maintains project integrity and prevents uncontrolled scope expansion. 83. Your project team is struggling with communication due to working across multiple time zones. How should you address this? A. Schedule meetings at a fixed time convenient for the headquarters. B. Encourage asynchronous communication and adjust meeting schedules to accommodate all time zones. C. Require all team members to adjust to a single time zone for meetings. D. Let team members manage their own communication issues. Answer: B. Encourage asynchronous communication and adjust meeting schedules to accommodate all time zones. Explanation: effective communication strategies ensure inclusivity and collaboration in global teams. 84. You discover a significant defect in a deliverable close to the project deadline. What should you do? A. Deliver the product as is to meet the deadline. B. Conduct an impact analysis and discuss corrective actions with stakeholders. C. Hide the defect and fix it in future updates. D. Escalate the issue without analyzing possible solutions. Answer: B. Conduct an impact analysis and discuss corrective actions with stakeholders. Explanation: quality management involves assessing defects, mitigating risks, and ensuring stakeholder alignment. 85. A sponsor requests you to fast-track the project due to external pressures. What should be your first action? Assess the risks and feasibility of fast-tracking before making a decision. B. Immediately accelerate all activities without analysis. C. Extend work hours without informing the team. D. Ignore the request, as the project schedule is already defined. Answer: assess the risks and feasibility of fast-tracking before making a decision. Explanation: schedule management requires evaluating trade-offs and risks before implementing changes. 86. Your project is at risk of missing a regulatory compliance requirement due to changes in industry regulations. What is the best course of action? A. Ignore the regulation changes and continue as planned. B. Conduct a compliance assessment and adjust project scope and schedule accordingly. C. Inform stakeholders but take no further action. D. Stop the project until a solution is found. Answer: B. Conduct a compliance assessment and adjust project scope and schedule accordingly. Explanation: regulatory compliance must be proactively managed to avoid legal and operational risks. 87. A new executive sponsor joins the organization and demands immediate project changes without reviewing the current status. How should you respond? A. Implement the requested changes without question. B. Provide a detailed project status report and explain the impact of changes. C. Ignore the sponsor's requests until they are formally documented. De-escalate the issue without attempting to resolve it. Answer: B. Provide a detailed project status report and explain the impact of changes. Explanation: stakeholder management ensures informed decision-making and alignment with project objectives. 88. The project budget is being cut by 20%, but the scope remains unchanged. How should you handle this? A. Reduce quality to compensate for the budget cut. B. Discuss with stakeholders to reprioritize scope and adjust project deliverables. C. Proceed with the project as planned, expecting the team to make do with fewer resources. D. Delay the project to compensate for the reduced budget. Answer: B. Discuss with stakeholders to reprioritize scope and adjust project deliverables. Explanation: budget constraints require scope adjustments to maintain project viability without compromising quality. 89. A critical vendor has just informed you of a delay in delivering key components. What is your best immediate action? Assess the impact on the project schedule and explore alternative suppliers. B. Terminate the vendor contract without considering alternatives. C. Ignore the issue and hope the vendor recovers in time. De-escalate the issue to senior management without proposing a solution. Answer: assess the impact on the project schedule and explore alternative suppliers. Explanation: effective procurement management involves risk assessment and contingency planning. 90. A team member reports ethical concerns about how a project task is being handled. What is your best response? Investigate the concerns and take corrective action if necessary. B. Dismiss the concerns and proceed with the project as planned. C. Ask the team member to keep the concern private to avoid disruptions. De-escalate the issue without gathering any further details. Answer: I investigate the concerns and take corrective action if necessary. Explanation: ethical project management ensures integrity, compliance, and long-term project success. 91. You are managing a large infrastructure project that is halfway to completion. A key subcontractor responsible for electrical wiring has just declared bankruptcy, and all work under their contract has stopped. The project schedule is now at risk, and your stakeholders, including government agencies, are pressing for updates. You have a limited budget and cannot afford significant delays. What should be your next step? A. Reallocate funds from other parts of the project to hire a new subcontractor immediately. B. Conduct an impact analysis and consult the procurement team for possible alternative vendors or contract renegotiation. C. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor and let them handle the problem. D. Request an extension from stakeholders to allow time to find a new subcontractor. Answer: B. Conduct an impact analysis and consult the procurement team for possible alternative vendors or contract renegotiation. Explanation: this approach ensures a structured response to a major risk event. By conducting an impact analysis, you assess how this will affect project cost, schedule, and quality. Engaging the procurement team helps identify the best alternative solution without making hasty budget reallocations. 92. You are managing a high-profile IT transformation project in a multinational company. A key stakeholder in the finance department, who was originally supportive, is now actively opposing the project. They have been influencing other departments against adopting the new system, citing concerns about data security and cost overruns. Your executive sponsor is unaware of this conflict. What should you do? Meet with the stakeholder to understand their concerns and try to address them before escalating the issue. B. Ignore the stakeholder's objections since the executive sponsor approved the project. C. Escalate the issue to the executive sponsor immediately so they can deal with the stakeholder. D. Publicly refute the stakeholder's claims to prevent them from spreading misinformation. Answer. Meet with the stakeholder to understand their concerns and try to address them before escalating the issue. Explanation. Stakeholder management is critical in project success. Rather than escalating the issue immediately, it is best to engage the stakeholder in a discussion to address concerns, correct misconceptions, and find a common ground. If this fails, then escalation may be necessary. 93. You are overseeing a pharmaceutical research project that involves multiple government approvals. The project is progressing well, but suddenly, a new regulatory requirement is introduced, which affects the testing phase. If not addressed, the project may be delayed by 6 months. Your team is already working at full capacity, and additional resources are not readily available. How should you handle this? Proceed with the original plan, assuming the regulators will grant an exception. B. Assess the regulatory impact, inform stakeholders, and adjust the project plan accordingly. C. Delay the project until new funding is secured to meet the regulatory changes. D. Assign additional work to your current team without adjusting the schedule. Answer. B. Assess the regulatory impact, inform stakeholders, and adjust the project plan accordingly. Explanation. Compliance with regulations is non-negotiable in the pharmaceutical industry. The best approach is to analyze the impact, inform stakeholders, and adapt the project plan while ensuring the necessary approvals are met. 94. Your project team has been working remotely for 6 months on a digital banking initiative. The team members are highly skilled, but recently productivity has dropped, and miscommunication has led to costly errors. Some team members have complained about feeling disconnected and disengaged. What should you do to resolve this? A mandate that all team members return to the office immediately. B. Conduct a retrospective to identify the root causes and implement better collaboration strategies. C. Increase monitoring and require daily progress reports from all team members. D. Replace team members who are underperforming to improve productivity. Answer. B. Conduct a retrospective to identify the root causes and implement better collaboration strategies. Explanation. The best way to resolve a drop in productivity is to conduct a review, gather feedback, and implement changes that enhance engagement and communication, rather than enforcing rigid policies that may further demotivate the team. 95. A client requests a major change to the project deliverable after reviewing an early prototype. The change will require additional resources and extend the timeline beyond the agreed deadline. The client insists the change is necessary for business success, but refuses to approve additional funding. What should you do? Implement the change and absorb the additional cost to maintain client satisfaction. B. Reject the change since the client refuses to provide additional funding. C. Negotiate with the client to adjust the scope, budget, or schedule in a way that meets both parties' needs. D. Proceed with the original plan and ignore the request. Answer. C. Negotiate with the client to adjust the scope, budget, or schedule in a way that meets both parties' needs. Explanation. Change management requires a balanced approach. Instead of outright rejecting or accepting the change, negotiation is necessary to find a feasible solution that maintains project viability while addressing client concerns. 96. You are managing a complex software development project for a government agency. Halfway through development, A security vulnerability is discovered that could expose sensitive citizen data. Fixing the issue would require a significant redesign, but the agency is pushing to meet the original delivery deadline. What should you do? A. Deliver the project as planned and schedule security fixes for a later update. B. Conduct a risk assessment and discuss the potential impact of the security issue with stakeholders before making a decision. C. Immediately stop all development work until the security vulnerability is resolved. D. Ignore the security issue since it has not been exploited yet. Answer: B. Conduct a risk assessment and discuss the potential impact of the security issue with stakeholders before making a decision. Explanation: security risks in government projects must be handled with full transparency. A risk assessment will help determine the impact, and involving stakeholders ensures a well-informed decision is made. 97. A supplier has delivered critical project materials, but upon inspection, you discover they do not meet the agreed-upon quality standards. The supplier argues that the materials are close enough and refuses to provide replacements without additional costs. The project deadline is approaching, and finding a new supplier may delay the project. What should you do? A. Accept the materials as they are to keep the project on schedule. B. Escalate the issue to senior management and seek legal advice if necessary. C. Continue negotiations with the supplier while assessing potential alternatives. D. Terminate the contract and start over with a new supplier. Answer: C. Continue negotiations with the supplier while assessing potential alternatives. Explanation: this approach allows you to keep the project moving while maintaining quality standards. It ensures that you explore all options before making a costly decision. 98. Midway through an agile project, the customer expresses dissatisfaction with the product and suggests changes that require a fundamental shift in the development approach. The team is divided, with some members agreeing with the customer and others pushing back due to the additional workload. How do you handle this situation? Immediately implement the changes to satisfy the customer. B. Conduct a backlog refinement session and work with the customer to reassess priorities. C. Continue with the original plan since the customer previously approved it. D. Allow the team to decide whether to implement the changes. Answer: B. Conduct a backlog refinement session and work with the customer to reassess priorities. Explanation: agile project management requires flexibility. A backlog refinement session will help reprioritize work based on customer needs while balancing feasibility and team capacity. 99. While finalizing a construction project, a local government official requests an additional environmental compliance audit, which was not originally required. The audit would delay project completion and cost additional money. However, the official has hinted that proceeding without it could result in challenges when obtaining final permits. What is your best course of action? A. Comply with the request to avoid potential legal and regulatory issues. B. Proceed without the audit and deal with permit issues later. C. Challenge the official's request and refuse to comply. D. Offer an informal incentive to bypass the requirement. Answer: A. Comply with the request to avoid potential legal and regulatory issues. Explanation: regulatory compliance is a priority in construction projects. Ignoring the request could result in costly delays or legal consequences later. 100. You are managing a project with multiple external vendors, and one vendor is significantly behind schedule. The delay is impacting other dependencies, and the vendor has provided no clear resolution timeline. What should you do? Identify alternative vendors or mitigation strategies while negotiating with the existing vendor. B. Continue waiting for the vendor to resolve the delay. C. Remove the vendor and assign the work to your internal team, even if it stretches their capacity. D. Penalize the vendor without exploring alternative solutions. Answer: Identify alternative vendors or mitigation strategies while negotiating with the existing vendor. Explanation: risk management requires identifying alternatives. while keeping communication open with the existing vendor to minimize disruption. 101. You are managing a high-budget aerospace project with strict government oversight. During a routine quality inspection, a senior engineer discovers that a critical component does not meet the required safety specifications. This component has already been installed in 60% of the units, and replacing it will require a budget overrun of 15%, which the sponsor is unlikely to approve. The alternative is to proceed as is, with a risk mitigation strategy that reduces, but does not eliminate, the potential failure rate. What should you do? Stop production immediately, escalate the issue to the sponsor, and request additional funding for replacements. B. Proceed with the current component and implement the risk mitigation plan to minimize potential failures. C. Secretly adjust testing parameters to ensure the component passes quality checks. D. Request an urgent meeting with the Government Oversight Committee to seek an exception. Answer. Stop production immediately, escalate the issue to the sponsor, and request additional funding for replacements. Explanation. Safety is a non-negotiable factor in aerospace projects. Proceeding with the defective component could lead to catastrophic failures, regulatory violations, and lawsuits. Even though this will impact the budget, it is the ethical and legal choice. 102. You are leading a global supply chain transformation project. One of your major suppliers in Asia has been hit by a natural disaster, causing indefinite production delays. Your project plan does not include an alternative supplier, and stakeholders are demanding a solution. The project must stay on schedule due to contractual commitments, but alternative suppliers would require extensive onboarding time. What should you do? Expedite the onboarding of an alternative supplier while negotiating short-term contracts with smaller vendors. B. Wait for the original supplier to resume operations, even if it causes delays. C. Ask stakeholders to accept a project delay due to unavoidable external circumstances. D. Cut non-critical quality checks to speed up production with the remaining suppliers. Answer. Expedite the onboarding of an alternative supplier while negotiating short-term contracts with smaller vendors. Explanation. Supply chain disruptions require immediate risk mitigation. A dual approach: onboarding a new supplier for the long term while using smaller vendors for immediate need ensures that the project remains on schedule without compromising quality. 103. Your team is developing a mission-critical AI system for fraud detection in a financial institution. A new regulation requires all AI models to be explainable, but your model is highly complex and difficult to interpret. The project sponsor insists on delivering as planned to meet the deadline, even though the current model may not comply with regulations. What should you do? Stop development and redesign the model to ensure explainability, even if it causes delays. B. Deliver the current model as planned and address compliance in a later update. C. Implement additional documentation and reporting to justify the model's decisions. D. Negotiate with regulators to seek an exception for your project. Answer. Stop development and redesign the model to ensure explainability even if it causes delays. Explanation. Regulatory compliance is mandatory, and non-compliance could lead to legal and financial penalties. Although it may delay the project, ensuring the model meets legal requirements is essential. 104. You are overseeing a high-risk infrastructure project in an emerging market. Political instability has led to sudden changes in land acquisition policies, which could force your project to halt indefinitely. Your client, a private investment firm, has invested heavily and is unwilling to abandon the project. However, continuing the project could expose your company to legal battles. How should you proceed? Conduct a legal assessment and propose an alternative site for the project. B. Proceed with the original plan, assuming the political situation will stabilize. C. Halt the project until further government clarity is provided. Depressure the government officials to reinstate the original land policies. Answer: conduct a legal assessment and propose an alternative site for the project. Explanation: legal and political risks must be managed proactively. Conducting a legal assessment and presenting alternative solutions minimizes financial losses and ensures regulatory compliance. 105. You are managing a pharmaceutical research project, and a whistleblower from your team has reported that test results were manipulated to meet project deadlines. The research findings are due to be published, and the company's reputation is at stake. If you halt the project, your company could suffer severe financial consequences. What should you do? Halt the project immediately and conduct an internal audit before proceeding. B. Ignore the whistleblower's claims since the results have already been approved. C. Proceed with publication and fix the data in a later update. D. Threaten legal action against the whistleblower to prevent reputational damage. Answer: halt the project immediately and conduct an internal audit before proceeding. Explanation: ethical integrity in research is non-negotiable. Manipulated test results could lead to legal consequences, regulatory fines, and reputational damage. Conducting an internal audit ensures transparency and accountability. 106. Your company is implementing an enterprise-wide ERP system, and key departments are resisting adoption. The HR department refuses to migrate to the new system, arguing that their existing tools are sufficient. If HR does not transition, it could create data silos and reduce the overall efficiency of the system. How do you handle this situation? Engage HR leadership to understand their concerns and address them through stakeholder collaboration. B. Force HR to adopt the new system by removing access to their existing tools. C. Allow HR to continue using their current system and find a way to integrate it later. De-escalate the issue to senior management and let them enforce compliance. Answer: engage HR leadership to understand their concerns and address them through stakeholder collaboration. Explanation: resistance to change is a common organizational challenge. Engaging stakeholders and addressing concerns through collaboration increases adoption rates and ensures project success. 107. A major investor in your real estate development project demands significant design changes that will delay completion by 6 months. Your contract states that all major design changes must be approved before construction begins. The investor insists that the changes will improve long-term profitability, but refuses to cover additional costs. What is your best course of action? A. Reject the changes since they violate the contract. B. Implement the changes at your own expense to maintain the relationship. C. Negotiate a compromise where the investor shares the additional cost. D. Proceed with the original plan and ignore the investor's request. Answer: C. Negotiate a compromise where the investor shares the additional cost. Explanation: business relationships require flexibility and negotiation. Instead of outright rejection or bearing the cost alone, compromise ensures both parties benefit while maintaining the project's financial viability. 108. Your company is merging with another firm, and you are leading the IT integration project. Halfway through the integration, key systems from both companies prove incompatible, leading to severe operational disruptions. The executive board is pressuring you to resolve the issue within 2 weeks, but technical teams estimate it will take at least 2 months. What should you do? Develop a phased integration approach to mitigate immediate disruptions. B. Rush the integration to meet the board's deadline even if issues persist. C. Abandon the integration plan and allow both companies to operate separately. De-escalate to the board and ask for an exemption from the deadline. Answer: develop a phased integration approach to mitigate immediate disruptions. Explanation: a phased approach allows for incremental improvements while managing business continuity. Rushing integration could lead to system failures and further delays. 109. Your company is launching a new mobile banking app, and final security tests Reveal major vulnerabilities that could expose customer data. Marketing campaigns have already started, and senior executives want to proceed with launch despite the risks. What should you do? Delay the launch until all security vulnerabilities are fixed. B. Proceed with the launch and patch the vulnerabilities in a later update. C. Reduce security testing scope to meet the deadline. D. Proceed with the launch, but limit app functionality until fixes are applied. Answer: delay the launch until all security vulnerabilities are fixed. Explanation: customer data protection is critical. Releasing an app with security flaws could lead to data breaches, lawsuits, and reputational damage. 110. You are leading a critical cloud migration project. And during the final testing phase, a senior engineer discovers data corruption issues. The business team insists that the migration must happen as planned to meet financial targets. However, proceeding with corrupted data could cause severe operational failures. What is the best decision? Delay the migration and resolve the data corruption issues. B. Proceed with the migration and attempt to fix data corruption later. C. Remove the senior engineer from the project to avoid delays. D. Ignore the corruption issues since they only affect a small dataset. Answer: delay the migration and resolve the data corruption issues. Explanation: data integrity is crucial for business operations. A migration with corrupted data could lead to system failures, financial losses, and operational breakdowns. 111. You are managing a large-scale infrastructure project that involves multiple subcontractors. One of the subcontractors responsible for a critical component is experiencing severe financial difficulties and may soon declare bankruptcy. This could halt progress for several months. Your contract does not include contingency plans for subcontractor failure, and replacing them would be costly and time-consuming. The client is unaware of the issue but expects project delivery on schedule. What should you do? Immediately notify the client about the risk and propose alternative solutions. B. Continue working with the subcontractor and hope they recover financially. C. Secure an alternative subcontractor while attempting to negotiate financial support for the current one. D. Wait until the subcontractor officially declares bankruptcy before taking action. Answer: immediately notify the client about the risk and propose alternative solutions. Explanation: transparency is crucial in risk management. Informing the client allows them to make informed decisions while you work on mitigating delays. 112. Your company is implementing a global digital transformation project, and a key stakeholder from the European branch strongly opposes the initiative. They believe that local regulations conflict with the proposed changes and refuse to cooperate. Without their support, the project could face major legal and operational hurdles. What should you do? Engage the stakeholder to address their concerns and find a compliant solution. B. Exclude the European branch from the transformation project. C. Force the implementation despite resistance. De-escalate to senior leadership and request they override the stakeholders' objections. Answer: engage the stakeholder to address their concerns and find a compliant solution. Explanation: stakeholder resistance must be handled through engagement and negotiation. Addressing concerns directly increases buy-in and ensures compliance. 113. Your software development project is nearing completion, and during final testing, your team discovers a critical bug that could cause the system to crash under heavy load. Fixing the bug would delay the launch by 4 weeks, but the marketing team has already announced the release date. The company's reputation is at stake. What is the best course of action? Delay the launch and fix the bug before release. B. Proceed with the release and address the bug in a future patch. C. Remove the feature causing the issue and launch on time. D. Increase server capacity to temporarily mitigate the crash risk. Answer: delay the launch and fix the bug before release. Explanation: A system crash on launch would damage the company's reputation, credibility, and customer trust. Fixing the issue beforehand is the best long-term decision. 114. Your company is leading a high-risk cybersecurity project, and a senior team member has unintentionally leaked sensitive project details to a third-party vendor who is not under an NDA. If this information becomes public, it could compromise national security. What should you do first? Immediately report the issue to senior management and legal counsel. B. Contact the vendor and ask them to keep the information confidential. C. Dismiss the team member for breaching confidentiality. D. Wait and see if the vendor discloses the information before taking action. Answer: I immediately report the issue to senior management and legal counsel. Explanation: in security-sensitive projects, immediate containment is necessary. Reporting the issue ensures proper damage control and legal compliance. 115. You are overseeing the construction of a new hospital, and due to a labor strike, all work has stopped. Your contract includes strict penalties for delays, and the client expects the hospital to open on schedule. The striking workers demand better pay, but meeting their demands would exceed your budget. What should you do? A. Negotiate with union leaders to reach a fair compromise. B. Hire temporary workers to replace the striking workforce. C. Pressure the client to extend the project deadline. D. Ignore the strike and hope it resolves itself soon. Answer: A. Negotiate with union leaders to reach a fair compromise. Explanation: labor disputes require careful negotiation. Finding a middle ground ensures work resumes without excessive cost overruns or delays. 116. You are leading a highly classified defense project, and an executive from another department requests access to project data, claiming they need it for strategic planning. However, they do not have the required security clearance. Refusing their request might create political tension within the company. What should you do? A. Deny the request and explain that security clearance is required. B. Provide them with partial access to maintain a good relationship. C. Seek permission from upper management before sharing any data. D. Give them full access since they are a company executive. Answer: A. Deny the request and explain that security clearance is required. Explanation: security protocols cannot be compromised. Unauthorized access could lead to compliance violations and legal consequences. 117. Your AI-powered financial system is scheduled for launch. But just before deployment, the compliance team discovers that it does not fully align with new anti-money laundering AML regulations. Fixing the issue would require months of rework. The executive team insists on proceeding as planned to avoid financial losses. What should you do? A. Delay the launch until the system is fully compliant. B. Launch the system and update it later to meet regulations. C. Request a regulatory exception from authorities. D. Proceed with a limited release in regions where compliance is not an issue. Answer: A. Delay the launch until the system is fully compliant. Explanation: regulatory compliance is mandatory. Non-compliance with AML laws could lead to fines, legal action, and reputational damage. 118. You are managing an oil pipeline construction project, and environmental activists have filed a lawsuit claiming that the project violates ecological protection laws. The project is already halfway complete, and stopping now would lead to massive financial losses. The legal team believes you have a strong case, but public pressure is mounting. What is the best course of action? Engage environmental groups to address concerns and seek a compromise. B. Ignore the lawsuit and continue construction. C. Launch a public relations campaign to counter the activists' claims. D. Halt the project until the lawsuit is resolved. Answer: engage environmental groups to address concerns and seek a compromise. Explanation: stakeholder engagement is crucial in controversial projects. Addressing concerns proactively helps mitigate risks and avoid long-term reputational damage. 119. Your pharmaceutical project is in clinical trial phase 3, and unexpected side effects have been reported in 5% of participants. The data is inconclusive, but halting the trials now could mean losing millions in R&D investments. The CEO wants to proceed unless the side effects exceed 10%. What is your best decision? A. Halt the trial and conduct further analysis on the side effects. B. Continue the trial and monitor side effects closely. C. Reduce participant numbers to lower the statistical impact of side effects. D. Publish only the positive results and exclude side effect data. Answer. A. Halt the trial and conduct further analysis on the side effects. Explanation. Patient safety is the top priority. Ignoring potential risks could lead to lawsuits and regulatory bans. 120. Your cloud computing migration project is at a critical phase, and an unexpected cyberattack has compromised sensitive data. Your security team is confident they can contain the breach without informing clients, but disclosing the incident could damage trust. What should you do? Inform affected clients immediately and provide a mitigation plan. B. Contain the breach and only disclose it if legally required. C. Shut down the migration until security flaws are addressed. D. Downplay the breach to avoid reputational damage. Answer. Inform affected clients immediately and provide a mitigation plan. Explanation. Transparency is essential in cybersecurity. Proactively managing the situation builds client trust and prevents legal repercussions. 121. You are managing a national infrastructure project for a government agency. And halfway through construction, a newly elected government decides to halt funding for political reasons. Your company has already invested significant resources, and shutting down the project could lead to massive layoffs. What should you do? Engage with the new government to negotiate project continuation under revised terms. B. Immediately halt all work and begin legal proceedings for compensation. C. Secure private funding to replace government financing and continue the project. D. Continue construction using internal funds, assuming the government will eventually reverse its decision. Answer. Engage with the new government to negotiate project continuation under revised terms. Explanation. Political shifts are common in large projects. Engaging with the government early increases the chances of restructuring instead of cancellation. 122. You are leading an AI-powered banking security project, and testing has revealed that the AI incorrectly flags legitimate transactions as fraud at an alarming rate. Delaying the rollout will cost the bank millions. But launching with these flaws may result in customer dissatisfaction and loss of trust. What should you do? Delay the rollout and improve AI accuracy before deployment. B. Proceed with the launch and instruct customer service to handle false positives. C. Reduce AI sensitivity and manually review high-risk cases. D. Release the system but allow customers to opt out of AI-based security. Answer. Delay the rollout and improve AI accuracy before deployment. Explanation. Customer trust is critical in banking. A flawed system could lead to negative publicity, regulatory scrutiny, and reputational damage. 123. Your company is executing a multi-million-dollar merger, and employees from the acquired company feel marginalized and demotivated, leading to high turnover of key personnel. If this continues, the merger's expected benefits may not be realized. How should you handle this? Implement an inclusive change management strategy that fosters collaboration. B. Replace key personnel with employees from the acquiring company. C. Ignore employee dissatisfaction and focus on financial objectives. D. Offer financial incentives for employees to stay, without changing company culture. Answer. Implement an inclusive change management strategy that fosters collaboration. Explanation. Merger success depends on culture integration. Retaining talent and reducing resistance requires proactive employee engagement. 124. You are managing a critical drug development project, and during clinical trials, unexpected side effects emerge that were not detected in earlier testing. Investors are pushing for fast FDA approval, but releasing the drug without further testing could risk public safety. What should you do? Extend clinical trials to assess the long-term impact of the side effects. B. Proceed with FDA approval and include a warning about potential side effects. C. Release the drug in a limited capacity while monitoring side effects. D. Withdraw the drug from development entirely to avoid liability. Answer. Extend clinical trials to assess the long-term impact of the side effects. Explanation. Patient safety takes priority over investor pressure. Rushing approval could lead to legal and ethical consequences. 125. You are leading a smart manufacturing automation project, and after implementation, workers are resisting adoption due to fear of job loss. This resistance is causing delays and affecting production efficiency. What is the best approach? Develop a reskilling program to help workers transition into new roles alongside automation. B. Enforce strict policies requiring all workers to adopt the automation system. C. Replace resistant employees with new hires who are comfortable with automation. D. Abandon automation to maintain workforce morale. Answer. Develop a reskilling program to help workers transition into new roles alongside automation. Explanation. Resistance to change is normal. A reskilling strategy reduces fear, improves adoption, and aligns business and employee goals. 126. Your company is developing a high-speed rail network, and halfway through, an unexpected land dispute arises with indigenous communities who claim historical ownership of key areas along the route. If unresolved, this could lead to legal action and project delays. What should you do? Negotiate with community leaders to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. B. Proceed with construction and let the courts settle the dispute. C. Relocate the rail route, even if it increases costs significantly. D. Offer financial compensation to affected communities and continue with the plan. Answer. Negotiate with community leaders to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. Explanation. Community engagement is crucial. Legal disputes could cause indefinite delays, so reaching a collaborative solution is the best approach. 127. You are leading an e-commerce expansion project into a new international market, and your team discovers unexpected trade restrictions that could significantly increase costs. The board wants to proceed despite the financial risk. What is your best course of action? Develop a detailed risk assessment and cost analysis to present to the board. B. Proceed with expansion despite the risks and absorb additional costs. C. Find ways to circumvent trade restrictions to minimize impact. D. Cancel the expansion and focus on existing markets. Answer. Develop a detailed risk assessment and cost analysis to present to the board. Explanation. Financial risk must be fully understood before proceeding. A clear analysis allows for informed decision-making. 128. You are managing a cybersecurity overhaul project, and testing has revealed that the new system has a critical vulnerability. The scheduled go-live date is in 2 weeks, and postponing would cost millions. However, launching with the flaw could expose user data to hackers. What should you do? Postpone the launch and fix the vulnerability before going live. B. Proceed as scheduled and release a security patch later. C. Deploy the system with temporary security measures. D. Launch the project, but restrict access until the vulnerability is fixed. Answer. Postpone the launch and fix the vulnerability before going live. Explanation. Data security is a top priority. Rushing deployment with known vulnerabilities increases legal and reputational risks. 129. You are overseeing a nuclear power plant upgrade, and engineers have discovered potential safety risks in the new reactor design. The regulatory agency requires additional safety validations, which will delay the project by 18 months. Investors are angry about the delay and demand that the project proceed. What should you do? A. Comply with regulatory requirements and delay the project. B. Challenge the regulator's findings and demand an appeal. C. Modify the reactor design to bypass the safety concerns. D. Proceed as scheduled and address the concerns after launch. Answer: A. Comply with regulatory requirements and delay the project. Explanation: nuclear safety is non-negotiable. Ignoring safety concerns could lead to catastrophic consequences and legal liabilities. 130. Your company is launching a digital banking service, but a key competitor has just released a similar product with more advanced features. The leadership team wants to fast-track the launch to compete, even though your product still has usability issues. What should you do? A. Refine the product to improve usability before launching. B. Launch as planned and improve the service through regular updates. C. Delay the project indefinitely to reassess the entire product strategy. D. Release the product, but offer discounts to attract users despite usability issues. Answer: A. Refine the product to improve usability before launching. Explanation: user experience determines product success. A premature launch with usability issues can lead to negative customer reviews and low adoption rates. 131. You are managing a satellite launch project for a telecommunications company. 2 weeks before launch, an independent review finds that the satellite's thermal insulation system may fail in extreme conditions, which could lead to signal loss after deployment. Delaying the launch will result in contractual penalties and reputational damage. But launching a faulty satellite could result in a complete mission failure. What should you do? A. Postpone the launch to conduct further testing and ensure the thermal system works. B. Launch as scheduled and implement a contingency plan in case of failure. C. Proceed with the launch, but modify the satellite's flight path to reduce thermal stress. D. Continue with the launch and rely on in-orbit software updates to manage temperature issues. Answer: A. Postpone the launch to conduct further testing and ensure the thermal system works. Explanation: a faulty satellite in orbit cannot be easily repaired. Addressing the issue before launch prevents mission failure and long-term financial loss. 132. You are overseeing the implementation of an automated supply chain system for a multinational retailer. Halfway through the project, a supplier refuses to integrate with the new system, claiming that the requirements were not clearly communicated. This is a critical supplier, and failure to include them could disrupt the entire supply chain. What should you do? A. Negotiate with the supplier to find a feasible integration plan that meets their needs. B. Continue with implementation and find a replacement supplier later. C. Modify the system to allow manual processing for the supplier. D. Terminate the contract with the supplier and seek legal action for non-compliance. Answer: A. Negotiate with the supplier to find a feasible integration plan that meets their needs. Explanation: key stakeholders must be aligned. A negotiation approach minimizes disruptions and maintains supply chain stability. 133. You are leading a smart city infrastructure project. And just as the final phase begins, a budget shortfall arises due to rising material costs. Stakeholders demand that you cut costs without delaying the project, but reducing scope could impact long-term sustainability. What is the best course of action? A. Reassess the budget and negotiate with suppliers to find cost reductions. B. Reduce project scope by removing non-essential infrastructure elements. C. Proceed with the current budget and absorb the additional costs later. D. Delay the project indefinitely until new funding is secured. Answer: Reassess the budget and negotiate with suppliers to find cost reductions. Explanation: cost control without compromising project goals is essential. Supplier negotiations can provide flexible solutions without cutting critical elements. 134. You are managing a pharmaceutical compliance project, and halfway through, A new regulatory requirement is introduced that makes some of your existing work non-compliant. Implementing the new requirement will increase costs and delay the project, but failure to comply will result in regulatory penalties. How should you proceed? A. Revise the project scope to incorporate the new regulatory requirement. B. Proceed with the original plan and address compliance later. C. Negotiate with regulators to delay enforcement of the new rule. D. Scale back the project to focus only on aspects that remain compliant. Answer. A. Revise the project scope to incorporate the new regulatory requirement. Explanation. Regulatory compliance is non-negotiable. Adjusting scope proactively prevents legal risks and financial penalties. 135. Your company is launching a mobile payment system in a developing country. But during testing, you discover that internet connectivity is unreliable in rural areas, making transactions fail frequently. If the system is launched as planned, it may not function for a large portion of users. What is the best approach? A. Develop an offline transaction feature that syncs when connectivity is available. B. Proceed with the launch, but exclude rural areas until a solution is found. C. Abandon the project in this country and focus on urban markets. D. Delay the launch and work with telecom providers to improve connectivity. Answer. A. Develop an offline transaction feature that syncs when connectivity is available. Explanation. Addressing real-world challenges proactively ensures a more inclusive and functional product. 136. You are leading a cybersecurity overhaul for a major hospital network. And during testing, vulnerability is found in the patient data encryption module. Fixing the issue will delay the project by 6 months, but stakeholders are pressuring you to go live now to meet a funding deadline. What should you do? A. Delay the project and fix the vulnerability before going live. B. Launch as scheduled and work on a patch after deployment. C. Reduce system scope and remove encryption to meet the deadline. D. Proceed with a partial launch and limit access to sensitive patient data. Answer. A. Delay the project and fix the vulnerability before going live. Explanation. Patient data security is critical. Rushing a launch without proper security exposes the organization to legal and ethical risks. 137. Your team is developing a self-driving public transport system. And during testing, the AI fails to recognize pedestrians in low light conditions. The mayor wants to launch the service in time for the upcoming election, but deploying an unsafe system could lead to fatal accidents. What should you do? A. Delay the launch and improve the AI's pedestrian detection capabilities. B. Proceed with launch and limit the service to daytime operations. C. Release the system but require human operators to intervene in risky areas. D. Reduce testing time and deploy in controlled environments only. Answer. Delay the launch and improve the AI's pedestrian detection capabilities. Explanation. Safety is non-negotiable in autonomous vehicles. Deploying a flawed system could result in legal liabilities and public backlash. 138. You are managing a renewable energy project, and your team discovers that a key turbine component has a 30% failure rate in extreme weather conditions. Replacing the component will cost millions and delay the project, but launching as is could lead to operational failures. What is the best approach? A. Redesign the component to improve reliability before launch. B. Proceed with installation and replace faulty components later. C. Reduce project scope and operate with limited functionality. D. Accept the risk and prepare contingency plans for failures. Answer. Redesign the component to improve reliability before launch. Explanation. A long-term energy project must be built for reliability. Preventive measures reduce operational risks and long-term costs. 139. You are leading an international trade negotiation project for your government. And at the final stage, the other country demands major last-minute changes that would significantly disadvantage your local businesses. Rejecting the changes could collapse negotiations, but accepting them would hurt your country's economy. How should you handle this? A. Reject the changes and propose alternative solutions that protect local businesses. B. Accept the changes to secure a deal and renegotiate later. C. Walk away from the deal entirely and seek alternative trade partners. D. Agree to the changes and compensate local businesses with subsidies. Answer: A. Reject the changes and propose alternative solutions that protect local businesses. Explanation: Effective negotiations require balance. Securing a fair deal ensures sustainable economic benefits. 140. Your company is developing an AI-powered healthcare diagnostic tool, and internal tests show that the AI has racial and gender biases in diagnosis accuracy. The product is scheduled for release in 1 month, and fixing these biases would take an additional 6 months. Stakeholders insist on launching now, arguing that the tool is still useful for most users. What should you do? A. Delay the launch and address the bias issues before release. B. Release the tool with disclaimers about its limitations. C. Proceed with launch and implement fixes in future updates. D. Limit the tool's use to research settings until biases are fixed. Answer: A. Delay the launch and address the bias issues before release. Explanation: Bias in healthcare AI can lead to incorrect diagnoses and ethical concerns. A fair and reliable system must be a priority. 141. You are leading a critical software upgrade project for a government agency. A week before deployment, your team finds that the new system has a compatibility issue with existing infrastructure, which will require an additional 2 months to fix. However, delaying the launch will result in public backlash and a potential lawsuit from a third-party vendor. What should you do? A. Delay the launch and resolve the compatibility issue before deployment. B. Deploy the system as planned and work on patches after release. C. Roll back to the old system and negotiate an extension with the third-party vendor. D. Partially deploy the upgrade, ensuring that only unaffected components go live. Answer: A. Delay the launch and resolve the compatibility issue before deployment. Explanation: Deploying a flawed system could compromise security and functionality, leading to greater long-term risks. 142. You are managing a space exploration project, and during final system checks, engineers discover that a critical sensor may fail under deep space radiation conditions. A replacement will take 6 months, but postponing the launch will jeopardize the entire mission's funding. How should you handle this? A. Delay the launch and install a fully reliable sensor. B. Proceed with launch and rely on redundant systems to compensate. C. Install the faulty sensor and plan a mid-mission software update to adjust for inaccuracies. D. Seek external funding to expedite sensor redesign without delaying the mission. Answer: A. Delay the launch and install a fully reliable sensor. Explanation: A failed sensor could compromise mission success. Delaying the launch ensures the reliability of deep space data collection. 143. You are overseeing the construction of a new international airport. But 3 months before completion, the main contractor goes bankrupt, leaving a major portion of the project unfinished. Finding a new contractor will significantly increase costs, but proceeding without the missing components will violate aviation safety regulations. What should you do? A. Seek emergency funding to hire a new contractor and complete the project. B. Continue with existing subcontractors and scale back the project scope. C. Delay the project indefinitely until a government bailout is secured. D. Open only partially completed sections and operate at reduced capacity. Answer: Seek emergency funding to hire a new contractor and complete the project. Explanation: Aviation safety is non-negotiable. Securing emergency funding ensures compliance and long-term success. 144. You are managing a global product launch for a new electric vehicle. A week before the announcement, Leaked test results reveal that the battery life is significantly lower than advertised. If you delay the launch, the company will lose market momentum. But releasing an underperforming product could result in severe reputational damage. What should you do? Delay the launch and improve battery performance before release. B. Proceed with the launch and offer a free battery upgrade later. C. Release the product but adjust marketing claims to reflect actual performance. D. Continue with the launch but limit availability to select markets for further testing. Answer: delay the launch and improve battery performance before release. Explanation: releasing a faulty product damages brand credibility. Fixing the issue beforehand prevents customer dissatisfaction and legal risks. 145. Your company is developing an AI-driven fraud detection system for a major bank. Internal testing reveals that the AI incorrectly flags 20% of legitimate transactions as fraudulent, leading to customer complaints. Stakeholders are pressuring you to deploy the system as scheduled and refine it later. How should you proceed? Delay deployment and recalibrate the AI's accuracy before release. B. Deploy the system and provide customers with a manual review option. C. Release the system, but apply it only to high-risk transactions. D. Proceed with deployment and issue an apology for early errors. Answer: delay deployment and recalibrate the AI's accuracy before release. Explanation: AI errors in banking can cause financial losses and customer dissatisfaction. Accuracy must be prioritized before deployment. 146. You are leading a multinational merger project, and during final negotiations, you discover that the other company has undisclosed legal disputes that could affect financial stability. Backing out now will cost millions in penalties, but proceeding with the merger may expose your company to legal risks. What is the best course of action? Pause negotiations and demand full disclosure before proceeding. B. Proceed with the merger and address legal risks after acquisition. C. Renegotiate the deal to include legal protections for your company. D. Terminate the merger agreement and accept the financial penalty. Answer: C. Renegotiate the deal to include legal protections for your company. Explanation: ensuring legal protection minimizes risks while allowing the merger to proceed strategically. 147. You are managing an AI-powered medical diagnosis tool, and during final testing, researchers discover that it incorrectly diagnoses rare diseases 40% of the time. Fixing the issue will take an extra 8 months, but investors are demanding that you launch immediately to recoup development costs. What should you do? Delay the launch and improve diagnostic accuracy before deployment. B. Release the tool but include disclaimers about accuracy limitations. C. Proceed with the launch and improve accuracy in future updates. D. Deploy only in limited settings, such as clinical trials, before full release. Answer: delay the launch and improve diagnostic accuracy before deployment. Explanation: misdiagnosis in healthcare can lead to life-threatening consequences. Accuracy must be prioritized. 148. You are leading a national cybersecurity defense project, and during a routine audit, analysts discover that a key encryption algorithm is vulnerable to hacking. Upgrading to a stronger encryption system will delay the project by a year and cost $100 million. But proceeding with the current system could expose critical national infrastructure. What should you do? Upgrade to the stronger encryption before deployment, despite delays. B. Proceed with the existing system, but implement additional monitoring tools. C. Deploy the system as planned and work on a patch after deployment. D. Negotiate with stakeholders for a partial deployment while upgrades are made. Answer: upgrade to the stronger encryption before deployment, despite delays. Explanation: cybersecurity vulnerabilities in national defense can have catastrophic consequences. Strengthening security must be the priority. 149. You are managing a high-profile Olympics infrastructure project, And due to unforeseen weather conditions, the construction of a key stadium is behind schedule. If it's not completed on time, the event may be relocated to another country, causing billions in losses. What is the best approach? A. Increase workforce and work around the clock to meet the deadline. B. Scale back the stadium size to complete it faster. C. Negotiate with the Olympics Committee to extend the deadline. D. Shift key events to existing venues while finishing the new stadium. Answer: A. Increase workforce and work around the clock to meet the deadline. Explanation: Major event deadlines are rarely flexible. Increasing workforce ensures project completion without scope reduction. 150. You are overseeing a cryptocurrency exchange launch, and just before going live, auditors discover that the platform's security features are weaker than industry standards, making it vulnerable to hacking. Delaying will cost millions and lost investor confidence, but launching as is could lead to major security breaches. What is the best course of action? A. Postpone the launch and implement stronger security measures. B. Launch the exchange but restrict large transactions until security is improved. C. Deploy as planned and address security concerns through updates. D. Continue with the launch, but add an insurance policy for hacked funds. Answer: A. Postpone the launch and implement stronger security measures. Explanation: A weak security system in crypto can lead to catastrophic losses. Ensuring safety before launch protects users and the company. 151. You are managing a global pharmaceutical project developing a life-saving vaccine. During final trials, researchers discover that the vaccine has a rare but severe side effect in 1% of cases. The regulatory body is pressuring you to proceed with production due to an ongoing health crisis. But releasing the vaccine without further testing could result in lawsuits and public mistrust. What should you do? A. Pause production and conduct additional trials to investigate the side effect. B. Proceed with production, but add warnings about the potential side effect. C. Release the vaccine, but only for emergency use in high-risk areas. D. Proceed with the rollout while simultaneously working on a safer version. Answer: A. Pause production and conduct additional trials to investigate the side effect. Explanation: Releasing a vaccine with unknown risks could cause widespread harm. Ensuring safety before mass production is crucial. 152. You are leading a nationwide IT infrastructure upgrade for government agencies. A month before implementation, hackers breach the system and steal sensitive citizen data. Officials demand an immediate launch to replace the compromised system. But deploying the upgrade without additional security measures risks further breaches. What is your best course of action? A. Strengthen security first before proceeding with the launch. B. Proceed with the upgrade, but implement emergency patches afterward. C. Delay the project indefinitely until a full cybersecurity audit is completed. D. Roll back to the old system and shut down access to prevent further breaches. Answer: A. Strengthen security first before proceeding with the launch. Explanation: Deploying an unprotected system increases cybersecurity risks. Reinforcing security before launch is the best approach. 153. You are overseeing a large-scale real estate project, and a month before completion, environmental activists file a lawsuit blocking construction due to concerns about protected wildlife. Halting the project could cost millions, but proceeding without legal approval may result in permanent shutdowns. What should you do? Engage with environmental regulators to find a legal resolution. B. Continue construction while fighting the lawsuit in court. C. Scale back the project and avoid the protected area. D. Negotiate financial compensation for environmental groups to drop the lawsuit. Answer: A. Engage with environmental regulators to find a legal resolution. Explanation: Legal compliance is essential. Finding a resolution ensures long-term project success without regulatory penalties. 154. Your company is developing an autonomous vehicle system. and testing reveals that the AI occasionally misinterprets pedestrian crossings in certain lighting conditions. Investors are pressuring you to launch immediately to secure market leadership, but unresolved safety concerns could result in deadly accidents. What is your best course of action? A. Delay the launch until the AI's pedestrian detection is fully reliable. B. Release the system, but include disclaimers advising manual overrides. C. Deploy in limited, low-risk areas while refining AI accuracy. D. Proceed with the launch and fix pedestrian detection via future updates. Answer: A. Delay the launch until the AI's pedestrian detection is fully reliable. Explanation: Safety is non-negotiable in autonomous vehicles. A premature release could result in serious accidents and lawsuits. 155. You are leading a high-risk construction project in a politically unstable region. Midway through, the local government imposes new taxation policies, doubling project costs. Continuing the project will exceed the budget, but abandoning it will result in legal consequences and reputational damage. What should you do? A. Renegotiate tax policies with government officials to reduce costs. B. Proceed with the project and find cost-cutting measures elsewhere. C. Abandon the project and absorb the financial losses. D. Seek additional funding from investors to offset the new costs. Answer: A. Renegotiate tax policies with government officials to reduce costs. Explanation: Legal tax negotiations can minimize financial impact while allowing the project to continue. 156. You are managing a multi-billion-dollar oil pipeline construction when local communities start protesting, claiming the pipeline threatens their water supply. If you continue, it may lead to lawsuits and public opposition, but stopping the project will result in major financial losses. What is your best option? Engage with local communities and conduct independent environmental studies. B. Proceed with construction and offer financial compensation to affected communities. C. Halt the project indefinitely to avoid political and legal complications. D. Relocate the pipeline route to avoid affected communities. Answer: Engage with local communities and conduct independent environmental studies. Explanation: Stakeholder engagement and independent studies can ensure regulatory compliance while maintaining public trust. 157. You are the project manager for a new banking app, and just before launch, regulators notify you that the app does not fully comply with financial security standards. Fixing the issues will delay the launch by 6 months, but launching now may result in regulatory fines. What should you do? A. Pause the launch and update the app to meet security standards. B. Proceed with the launch and implement security fixes post-release. C. Release the app but limit functionality to non-sensitive transactions. D. Launch as planned and address compliance issues through future updates. Answer: A. Pause the launch and update the app to meet security standards. Explanation: Financial security compliance is mandatory. Failure to meet standards could result in legal penalties and loss of customer trust. 158. You are leading a military defense project, and testing reveals that the new missile guidance system has a 10% failure rate. Military officials want you to deploy the system immediately, but failure during combat could have catastrophic consequences. How should you proceed? A. Delay deployment and improve the guidance system before release. B. Deploy as planned but include manual override features for human intervention. C. Use the system only in non-critical combat situations for further testing. D. Proceed with deployment, but inform military officials of the risks. Answer: A. Delay deployment and improve the guidance system before release. Explanation: A missile failure in combat could lead to severe military losses. Ensuring reliability before deployment is critical. 159. Your company is developing a new AI-powered medical diagnostic tool, and you discover that it disproportionately misdiagnoses ethnic minorities due to biased training data. Stakeholders want to proceed with launch to secure funding, but deploying a biased tool could lead to discrimination lawsuits. What is the best course of action? A. Fix the bias first before launching the tool. B. Proceed with the launch and address bias through future updates. C. Release the tool but limit its use to non-critical diagnoses. D. Inform users of the bias and recommend manual reviews of all AI-generated diagnoses. Answer: A. Fix the bias first before launching the tool. Explanation: AI bias in medical diagnostics can lead to serious healthcare inequalities. Correcting the issue before launch is ethical and legally necessary. 160. You are leading a major airport expansion project, but 6 months before completion, new safety regulations are introduced, requiring a complete redesign of the control tower. This will delay the project by a year and add significant costs. However, proceeding under old standards risks non-compliance and operational shutdowns. What should you do? A. Redesign the control tower to meet new safety standards, despite the delay. B. Continue construction under old standards and apply for an exemption. C. Proceed with the original design and retrofit the control tower later. D. Negotiate with regulators to allow partial airport operations during redesign. Answer: Redesign the control tower to meet new safety standards, despite the delay. Explanation: Regulatory compliance is mandatory for aviation safety. Non-compliance could result in operational shutdowns and legal penalties. 161. You are managing a global e-commerce expansion project, and your team is preparing for a major Black Friday launch. A week before launch, your third-party logistics provider declares bankruptcy, leaving you without a distribution network. Customers are already expecting the launch, and delaying the rollout could severely damage your brand's reputation. What is the best course of action? Immediately secure alternative logistics providers to avoid disruption. B. Delay the launch and inform customers about the unexpected challenge. C. Proceed with the launch, but limit product availability to existing warehouses. D. Offer discounts and incentives for customers willing to wait for delayed shipments. Answer: Immediately secure alternative logistics providers to avoid disruption. Explanation: Minimizing delays while ensuring a functioning logistics network helps protect both revenue and customer trust. 162. You are leading a mega project in the energy sector, and just before final approval, a newly elected government revokes permits, citing environmental concerns. Your organization has already invested billions, and stopping now would lead to mass layoffs and severe financial losses. What should you do? A. Engage with the new government to negotiate compliance with updated regulations. B. Proceed with the project under old permits and challenge the decision in court. C. Shift operations to a different country with more stable regulations. D. Halt the project entirely and absorb the financial loss. Answer: Engage with the new government to negotiate compliance with updated regulations. Explanation: Collaboration with stakeholders increases the likelihood of securing approval while aligning with new regulations. 163. You are managing a $500 million spacecraft development project, and engineers discover that the navigation software occasionally fails under extreme radiation conditions. Fixing the issue would take an additional 2 years, but stakeholders want to proceed because the delay could result in lost funding. What should you do? A. Delay the launch and resolve the navigation failure. B. Proceed with the launch and plan a software update while the spacecraft is in operation. C. Launch as scheduled but provide additional manual navigation support from Earth. D. Reduce the mission scope to minimize the impact of navigation errors. Answer: A. Delay the launch and resolve the navigation failure. Explanation: Spacecraft failures in high radiation environments could compromise the entire mission. Fixing issues before launch is critical. 164. You are the project manager for a nationwide smart traffic system upgrade. And during final testing, engineers identify inconsistent sensor responses in 30% of intersections. The transportation department demands an on-time launch, but deploying a faulty system could increase traffic accidents. What is the best approach? A. Delay the launch and fix sensor inconsistencies. B. Proceed with the launch and provide manual traffic monitoring at affected intersections. C. Deploy the system in unaffected areas while troubleshooting the faulty sensors. D. Launch as planned and inform drivers about potential sensor inaccuracies. Answer: delay the launch and fix sensor inconsistencies. Explanation: releasing a faulty traffic system could lead to accidents and liability issues. Ensuring accuracy is paramount. 165. Your company is developing an AI-powered stock trading platform, and internal testing reveals that the algorithm occasionally makes high-risk trades, which could cause financial losses for customers. Executives insist on launching before competitors do, fearing loss of market share. What is the best course of action? A. Postpone the launch and refine the algorithm to ensure stability. B. Proceed with launch, but restrict AI trading to low-risk scenarios. C. Release the product and inform users of potential risks. D. Launch with a manual override feature, allowing users to disable AI-driven trades. Answer: A. Postpone the launch and refine the algorithm to ensure stability. Explanation: unstable AI trading could lead to major financial losses and regulatory penalties. Ensuring reliability before launch is crucial. 166. You are leading a $2 billion high-speed rail project, and 6 months before completion, an unexpected fault in the track alignment is discovered, which could cause high-speed derailments. Fixing the alignment will delay the project by another 18 months, but ignoring it could lead to fatal accidents. What is your best option? A. Fix the alignment issue before launching the rail service. B. Proceed with construction, but impose speed limits on the affected section. C. Open the railway in unaffected areas while working on the faulty section. D. Continue as planned, but schedule a future maintenance fix post-launch. Answer: A. Fix the alignment issue before launching the rail service. Explanation: rail safety is a non-negotiable priority. A derailment could cause loss of life and legal consequences. 167. Your company is developing a cutting-edge cybersecurity solution for financial institutions. But during testing, researchers discover that it has vulnerabilities that hackers could exploit. The CEO wants to proceed with launch, fearing a missed opportunity in the competitive market. But a security breach could ruin the company's reputation. What should you do? A. Postpone the launch and strengthen security before deployment. B. Release the product and patch vulnerabilities in subsequent updates. C. Proceed with the launch, but limit availability to small-scale deployments. D. Launch as planned but require customers to sign liability waivers. Answer: A. Postpone the launch and strengthen security before deployment. Explanation: releasing an insecure product could lead to severe breaches and loss of trust. Security must be fully addressed before deployment. 168. You are overseeing a nationwide public health initiative, and your team has developed a new automated disease tracking system. During trials, it frequently misidentifies patients, leading to false positives and unnecessary quarantines. Regulators demand an immediate rollout due to a new outbreak, but launching without fixes could erode public trust. What should you do? A. Delay the rollout and improve accuracy before deployment. B. Deploy the system, but instruct healthcare workers to manually verify results. C. Proceed with a limited launch and refine the system in real time. D. Release the system and later introduce an upgraded version. Answer: A. Delay the rollout and improve accuracy before deployment. Explanation: a faulty public health system could cause widespread panic and mismanagement of resources. Accuracy is critical. 169. You are managing an international telecommunications project. And midway through, a new encryption law is passed, requiring you to redesign security protocols. Making these changes could delay the project by over a year, but ignoring the law risks fines and service bans in key markets. What is the best course of action? A. Redesign the security protocols to comply with the new law. B. Proceed with the original system and seek exemptions later. C. Launch as scheduled, but restrict access in regions with new laws. D. Negotiate temporary compliance while planning a long-term solution. Answer: A. Redesign the security protocols to comply with the new law. Explanation: Regulatory compliance is essential for long-term market access and avoiding legal consequences. 170. You are leading a multi-billion-dollar offshore wind farm project. And just before final construction, new maritime environmental policies are introduced, restricting turbine locations. Your team must now redesign the layout, which will increase costs and delay the project by 2 years. However, continuing with the original plan could lead to environmental fines and project shutdowns. What should you do? A. Redesign the layout to comply with the new environmental policies. B. Proceed with the original design and challenge the policy in court. C. Scale down the project to avoid restricted areas. D. Negotiate with regulators for an exemption. Answer: A. Redesign the layout to comply with the new environmental policies. Explanation: Adhering to environmental regulations ensures project sustainability and avoids legal penalties. 171. You are managing a government infrastructure project, and midway through, an election leads to a new administration with different priorities. The new leadership wants to cancel your project in favor of another initiative. The project is legally approved, and canceling it would result in massive losses. How do you respond? A. Present a business case showing the long-term benefits of your project. B. Sue the government for breach of contract. C. Abandon the project and reallocate resources to new initiatives. D. Ignore the new leadership stance and continue working as planned. Answer: Present a business case showing the long-term benefits of your project. Explanation: Political shifts require strategic advocacy. Demonstrating economic and social benefits could help secure continued funding. 172. You are managing a smart city development project, which includes implementing an AI-driven traffic management system. A key vendor responsible for supplying AI software is experiencing major delays due to unforeseen technical issues. Your contract includes penalties for late delivery, but penalizing them may damage your long-term partnership. Meanwhile, stakeholders are pressuring you to deliver on time. What should you do? A. Negotiate with the vendor for an alternative timeline while assessing other potential suppliers. B. Terminate the contract and find a new vendor, despite additional costs. C. Proceed with an incomplete system and update it after deployment. D. Ignore the delays and hope the vendor resolves the issue soon. Answer: A. Negotiate with the vendor for an alternative timeline while assessing other potential suppliers. Explanation: Balancing risk and relationships is key. While you must explore contingencies, working with the vendor ensures continuity and avoids rushed decisions. 173. Your organization is executing a large-scale ERP enterprise resource planning implementation. And halfway through, a regulatory body introduces new compliance requirements that require major system adjustments. These changes were not part of the original scope, and the executive team is resistant to modifying the budget and timeline. What is your best course of action? A. Present a cost-benefit analysis to justify the need for additional funding and time. B. Continue as planned and implement compliance adjustments post-launch. C. Try to negotiate an exemption with the regulatory body. D. Reduce the scope of other project features to accommodate compliance changes. Answer: A. Present a cost-benefit analysis to justify the need for additional funding and time. Explanation: regulatory compliance is non-negotiable. A well-prepared analysis ensures leadership understands the risks of proceeding without adjustments. 174. You are managing a satellite launch project, and 1 month before launch, a critical component has failed a reliability test. Replacing the component would require a 3-month delay. But stakeholders insist that the launch window must not be missed due to financial commitments. What should you do? A. Delay the launch and replace the faulty component. B. Proceed with the launch and monitor the component's performance in orbit. C. Implement a temporary fix to improve reliability and proceed as planned. D. Reduce the operational load on the component to minimize failure risk. Answer: delay the launch and replace the faulty component. Explanation: failure in space is irreversible. A launch with a known issue is too high risk, and delaying ensures mission success. 175. You are leading a cross-border merger project, and cultural clashes between employees from different countries are creating conflicts in integration efforts. Productivity has dropped, and key personnel are considering resignation. What is your best course of action? A. Implement a structured change management program to facilitate integration. B. Force all employees to adopt the dominant corporate culture. C. Ignore the issue and focus on achieving financial merger targets. D. Replace employees who resist cultural adaptation. Answer: implement a structured change management program to facilitate integration. Explanation: mergers require cultural alignment. A structured program reduces resistance, improves morale, and ensures long-term success. 176. Your organization is implementing a blockchain-based supply chain system, but a major investor is threatening to withdraw funding because they believe blockchain is too risky and unproven. Without this funding, the project may not be viable. How should you handle this situation? A. Provide data-driven evidence on blockchains, benefits, and risk mitigation strategies. B. Modify the project to remove blockchain elements and satisfy the investor. C. Seek alternative investors who support the technology. D. Proceed with the project, assuming the investor will reconsider later. Answer: provide data-driven evidence on blockchain's benefits and risk mitigation strategies. Explanation: educating stakeholders is critical. Demonstrating value and addressing concerns can prevent unnecessary project modifications. 177. You are managing a critical healthcare system upgrade, and a major hospital using the system has reported severe compatibility issues with existing infrastructure. The upgrade is already rolled out in other hospitals, and reverting to the old system is not an option. What should you do? Assign a dedicated team to resolve compatibility issues while ensuring hospital operations continue. B. Force the hospital to adapt to the new system, regardless of compatibility issues. C. Suspend the system upgrade until compatibility issues are resolved. D. Develop a workaround solution while researching a permanent fix. Answer: assign a dedicated team to resolve compatibility issues while ensuring hospital operations continue. Explanation: patient safety is the top priority. A dedicated team ensures both continuity of service and timely issue resolution. 178. Your company is developing an autonomous vehicle system, and initial public testing has shown unexpected safety concerns, even though the system meets legal requirements. The company's leadership wants to proceed with mass production, arguing that competitors have similar safety flaws. What is the best course of action? A. Delay mass production and enhance safety features. B. Proceed with production and address safety issues in future software updates. C. Release the product, but include extensive user disclaimers. D. Scale down production while continuing to refine safety features. Answer: a. Delay mass production and enhance safety features. Explanation: ethical responsibility and safety come first. Ignoring safety concerns can result in legal liabilities and reputational damage. 179. Your organization is leading an international renewable energy project. But a change in government policy in one of the target countries has introduced high tariffs on imported renewable technology. This makes your project financially unsustainable in that country. What should you do? A. Negotiate with the government to seek tariff reductions. B. Abandon the project in that country and focus on other regions. C. Absorb the additional costs and continue as planned. D. Partner with local manufacturers to bypass import tariffs. Answer: D. Partner with local manufacturers to bypass import tariffs. Explanation: adapting to policy changes is crucial. Partnering locally ensures compliance, reduces costs, and strengthens market positioning. 180. You are overseeing a high-profile construction project, and a new environmental impact study has revealed that the site is home to a protected species. Halting the project will cost millions, and the client is unwilling to accept delays. What should you do? A. Work with environmental authorities to develop a mitigation plan. B. Continue construction and hope authorities do not take legal action. C. Move the project to another location, despite the financial impact. D. Challenge the environmental findings in court. Answer: A. Work with environmental authorities to develop a mitigation plan. Explanation: Legal and environmental compliance cannot be ignored. A mitigation plan minimizes risk while allowing project progress. 181. You are managing an infrastructure project and a regulatory authority introduces a new compliance requirement midway through the project. This change will impact both cost and schedule. What should you do first? Assess the impact of the new requirement and update the project management plan. B. Ignore the requirement, assuming it will not be enforced immediately. C. Demand additional funding from the sponsor without justification. D. Continue the project as planned and address compliance issues later. Answer: assess the impact of the new requirement and update the project management plan. Explanation: compliance requirements must be addressed immediately to avoid legal or regulatory consequences. Analyzing the impact and updating plans ensures smooth project execution. 182. Your Agile project team has completed a sprint, but the product owner is unhappy with the deliverable despite meeting all defined requirements. What should you do? A. Facilitate a retrospective to understand concerns and improve future sprints. B. Rework the deliverable immediately without analyzing the issue. C. Ignore the feedback since the sprint met the requirements. De-escalate the issue without discussing it with the product owner. Answer: A. Facilitate a retrospective to understand concerns and improve future sprints. Explanation: Agile projects rely on continuous improvement, and retrospectives help address stakeholder concerns while refining future work. 183. A key supplier for your manufacturing project has failed to deliver essential materials on time, causing a delay in production. What is the best course of action? A. Activate a backup supplier as outlined in the risk management plan. B. Wait for the supplier to resolve the issue without taking immediate action. C. Cancel the project due to the supplier's failure. D. Proceed with incomplete materials and hope for minimal impact. Answer: A. Activate a backup supplier as outlined in the risk management plan. Explanation: having contingency plans in place helps mitigate supply chain risks and ensures project continuity. 184. While leading a virtual team across different time zones, you notice that communication gaps are causing misunderstandings and delays. What should you do? A. Implement clear communication protocols and schedule overlapping meetings. B. Force all team members to work during a single time zone. C. Ignore the issue, assuming team members will adjust over time. D. Reduce team collaboration to avoid misunderstandings. Answer: A. Implement clear communication protocols and schedule overlapping meetings. Explanation: effective communication strategies improve collaboration in virtual teams and prevent delays. 185. A critical project resource has become unavailable due to an emergency, and there is no immediate replacement. The project timeline is already tight. What is your best response? Assess workload distribution and explore temporary resource alternatives. B. Ignore the resource shortage and continue as planned. C. Delay the project indefinitely until the resource returns. De-escalate the issue without suggesting a solution. Answer. Assess workload distribution and explore temporary resource alternatives. Explanation. Managing resource constraints proactively minimizes project delays and ensures continued progress. 186. You are managing a high-profile project, and a senior executive asks you to prioritize another initiative which could impact your project's timeline. What should you do? Evaluate the impact and discuss potential trade-offs with stakeholders. B. Accept the request without assessing the impact. C. Reject the request without discussion. D. Shift resources immediately without informing the project team. Answer. Evaluate the impact and discuss potential trade-offs with stakeholders. Explanation. Project managers must balance competing priorities and ensure alignment with stakeholders before making major changes. 187. During project execution, a conflict arises between two key team members, disrupting productivity. How should you handle this? A. Facilitate a discussion to resolve the conflict and restore collaboration. B. Ignore the conflict and hope it resolves itself. C. Remove one of the team members from the project. De-escalate the issue without attempting resolution. Answer. Facilitate a discussion to resolve the conflict and restore collaboration. Explanation. Conflict resolution techniques help maintain team dynamics and ensure smooth project execution. 188. Your project has experienced multiple scope changes requested by stakeholders, and now the budget is at risk. What is the best course of action? A. Enforce the change control process and evaluate each request carefully. B. Approve all changes without assessing their impact. C. Reject all change requests to protect the budget. D. Delay the project to accommodate all changes. Answer. Enforce the change control process and evaluate each request carefully. Explanation. A structured change control process ensures that only necessary and feasible changes are implemented while managing costs. 189. A team member raises a concern about an overlooked risk that could significantly impact project success. What should you do? A. Reassess the risk, update the risk register, and develop a mitigation plan. B. Ignore the concern and continue as planned. C. Remove the team member for raising concerns. De-escalate the issue without taking action. Answer. Reassess the risk, update the risk register, and develop a mitigation plan. Explanation. Proactive risk management helps address potential threats before they become major issues. 190. Your client has requested a major design change late in the project, but implementing it would cause significant delays and cost overruns. What should you do? A. Conduct an impact assessment and present alternative solutions. B. Accept the request without considering the consequences. C. Reject the request without discussion. D. Pause the project indefinitely to address the change. Answer. A. Conduct an impact assessment and present alternative solutions. Explanation. Evaluating the impact and offering alternatives ensures that client needs are met while maintaining project feasibility. 191. Your project team has been working on a critical deliverable, but an unexpected technical issue has put the timeline at risk. The issue was not identified in the initial risk assessment. What should you do first? A. Gather the team to assess the issue and develop a resolution plan. B. Escalate the issue immediately without attempting a resolution. C. Extend the deadline without informing stakeholders. D. Ignore the issue and hope it resolves itself. Answer. Gather the team to assess the issue and develop a resolution plan. Explanation. When new risks emerge, Project managers must act quickly to assess the situation and find solutions to minimize delays. 192. You are leading a software development project and the customer is frequently requesting changes. This is affecting the schedule and budget. How should you handle this? A. Follow the change control process and assess each request's impact. B. Accept all changes without evaluating their consequences. C. Ignore customer requests to stay on schedule. D. Implement only the changes that the team prefers. Answer. A. Follow the change control process and assess each request's impact. Explanation. Change requests must be carefully evaluated through a structured process to ensure feasibility and control costs. 193. One of your senior project team members is consistently missing deadlines, causing delays in key deliverables. What is your best approach? A. Have a one-on-one discussion to understand and address the issue. B. Remove the team member from the project immediately. C. Publicly criticize the team member in front of the team. D. Ignore the issue and expect improvement over time. Answer. A. Have a one-on-one discussion to understand and address the issue. Explanation. Performance issues should be handled through direct communication and support to find a constructive resolution. 194. Your client insists on using a new technology that your team has no experience with, but the project deadline is approaching. What is the best course of action? A. Discuss the risks and propose alternatives based on available expertise. B. Agree immediately without assessing feasibility. C. Reject the request outright without discussion. D. Assign the team to use the technology without training. Answer. A. Discuss the risks and propose alternatives based on available expertise. Explanation. Engaging the client in discussions ensures that expectations are aligned while managing project risks effectively. 195. Your project is facing a budget overrun due to unforeseen resource costs. What is the most effective way to manage this? A. Review the budget, identify cost-saving opportunities, and adjust the project plan. B. Request additional funds without providing justification. C. Ignore the overrun and continue spending as planned. D. Reduce the project scope without consulting stakeholders. Answer. A. Review the budget, identify cost-saving opportunities, and adjust the project plan. Explanation. Proper cost management ensures financial control and project feasibility while balancing stakeholder expectations. 196. You are managing a global project, and cultural differences are causing misunderstandings between teams. What is the best approach? A. Conduct cultural awareness training to improve team collaboration. B. Assign all key decisions to one cultural group. C. Let teams work independently without interaction. D. Ignore the issue and hope communication improves over time. Answer. Conduct cultural awareness training to improve team collaboration. Explanation. Promoting cultural awareness enhances teamwork and prevents communication breakdowns in global projects. 197. A critical stakeholder keeps changing requirements at the last minute, affecting project stability. How should you handle this situation? Engage with the stakeholder to define clear and stable project requirements. B. Accept all changes without questioning their impact. C. Refuse to implement any changes and proceed as planned. De-escalate the issue immediately without discussing it with the stakeholder. Answer. A. Engage with the stakeholder to define clear and stable project requirements. Explanation. Proactively managing stakeholder expectations ensures clarity and minimizes disruptions to the project. 198. Your team is experiencing burnout due to excessive workload, and productivity is declining. What should you do? A. Reevaluate workload distribution and encourage work-life balance. B. Push the team harder to meet deadlines. C. Ignore the issue since deadlines are more important. D. Replace team members with new hires. Answer. Reevaluate workload distribution and encourage work-life balance. Explanation: managing team workload effectively helps maintain productivity and prevent burnout. 199. Halfway through a construction project, new environmental regulations require significant changes to the project plan. How should you handle this? Assess the impact, update the project plan, and communicate with stakeholders. B. Continue with the original plan and hope for leniency. C. Abandon the project due to regulatory issues. D. Reduce project scope without consulting the client. Answer: assess the impact, update the project plan, and communicate with stakeholders. Explanation: adapting to regulatory changes ensures compliance and avoids potential legal or financial consequences. 200. You are leading a marketing campaign, and a competitor has unexpectedly launched a similar campaign, reducing your project's effectiveness. What is your best response? A. Analyze the competitor's approach and adjust your strategy to maintain a competitive edge. B. Cancel the campaign immediately without assessing options. C. Ignore the competition and proceed with the original plan. D. Reduce marketing efforts to save costs. Answer: A. Analyze the competitor's approach and adjust your strategy to maintain a competitive edge. Explanation: competitive analysis allows teams to adapt strategies and maintain project success. Mistakes to avoid when answering PMP 2025 situational questions. The PMP exam is full of tricky situational questions designed to test how you apply project management principles in real-world scenarios. But many candidates fall into common traps that cost them valuable points. So, let's talk about the biggest mistakes to avoid when answering PMP situational questions. 1. Rushing through the question. Many PMP questions are long and detailed, but every word matters. Read carefully to understand the problem before looking at the answer choices. 2. Ignoring PMI's best practices. The correct answer isn't always what you do at your job, it's what PMI considers best practice. Follow the PMBOK guide, Agile Practice Guide, and ethical principles to choose the right answer. 3. Choosing the first, good answer. PMP situational questions often have multiple seemingly correct answers, but one is the best based on PMI standards. Always review all options before selecting your choice. 4. Focusing only on technical aspects. The PMP exam isn't just about processes, it heavily tests leadership, communication, and stakeholder management. If the question is about handling a conflict, the answer likely involves team collaboration, not just a technical fix. 5. Ignoring keywords like first or best. Words like what should you do first? Or what is the best approach? Completely change the meaning of the question. Don't just look for a correct action, focus on the priority order. PMI expects. 6. Forgetting agile and hybrid approaches. Over 50% of the PMP exam includes agile and hybrid scenarios. Don't assume every question follows predictive waterfall processes. Consider agile principles when applicable. 7. Letting personal work experience influence your answers. PMP questions are based on PMI's global standard, not individual company policies. Your job may handle things differently, but always answer based on PMI's framework. 8. Skipping the elimination technique. When stuck, eliminate obviously wrong answers first. This increases your chances of picking the correct choice, even if you're unsure. 9. Running out of time. You have 180 questions in 230 minutes, about 1.3 minutes per question. Don't get stuck on one tough question. Flag it and move on, then return later if time allows. 10. Not reviewing your answers. If you finish early, use your remaining time to double-check flagged questions. Small mistakes can cost big points. Avoid these mistakes, and you'll be one step closer to passing your PMP exam on the first attempt. Now, let's go over 10 essential tips to ensure your success. 10 tips to pass the PMP 2025 exam. 1. Understand the exam format. The PMP exam consists of 180 questions in 230 minutes, covering predictive waterfall, agile, and hybrid methodologies. Be prepared for scenario-based questions. 2. Master the PMBOK Guide and an Agile Practice Guide. These are the official references for the PMP exam. Understand concepts deeply rather than memorizing them. 3. Take high-quality mock exams. Practice at least 1,000 plus situational questions using PMI-approved exam simulators to build confidence. 4. Learn how to analyze situational questions. Focus on stakeholder management, risk handling, leadership, and change control to choose the best answer. 5. Use the elimination method. Remove obviously incorrect answers first to improve your chances of selecting the correct one. 6. Understand agile, hybrid, and predictive approaches. Be comfortable switching between different project management methodologies depending on the question. 7. Manage your exam time effectively. Stick to the 75-75-75 minute rule. First 60 questions, 75 minutes. Next 60 questions, 75 minutes. Last 60 questions, 75 minutes. Final review 5 minutes. 8. Memorize key PMP formulas. Learn formulas for Earned Value EV, Cost Performance Index CPI, and Schedule Variance SV to handle calculation-based questions. 9. Join PMP study groups. Join online PMP study communities on LinkedIn, Reddit, and PMI forums for support and study resources. 10. Stay calm and confident. A positive mindset can make a huge difference. Stay relaxed, trust your preparation, and tackle each question logically. By following these strategies, you'll maximize your chances of passing the PMP exam on your first try. Now, go crush that exam. Now, you know how to tackle PMP 2025 situational questions like a pro. Remember, practicing with real PMP scenarios and applying the right strategies will give you the confidence to pass your exam. Want more expert guidance? Download our PMP Exam Success Guide for additional practice questions and in-depth explanations. Link in the description box of this video and also in the comment section. Subscribe for more PMP study tips and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Have questions? Drop them in the comments or connect with us on WhatsApp or email. Good luck on your PMP journey. You got this.